Should be good to go. Hello, everybody. Hope everybody's having a good day. Howdy, howdy. Big stretch. Howdy indeed, lava lamp enjoyers. Do you enjoy lava lamps? If so, call Jameson and Jameson. You might be entitled to something. I don't know. However it goes. Why were you invited? I don't know. Somebody invited you. Wasn't me. If we worship lamp, does that make our savior a moth? No. But Moth, you did write one of the Gospels. Compensation, that's the word. You might be entitled to compensation. Oh, for some reason oh no, my mic's working. Alright, so let's see if we can get any flat earthers in here today. Who knows if we won't be able to. Dawson, didn't we talk to Dawson the other day? Let me pull open my list. Could have sworn that we spoke to Dawson the other day. In fact, didn't we post isn't there a YouTube video about Dawson? Let me just double check. Oh, Dawson, I was going to make a video about Dawson, but then I chose not to because of reasons. I don't think Dawson was bro, was he? Was Dawson bro? Well, let's bring him up, see what happens. Dawson, how's it going? Oh, he's not here yet. Oh, Dawson, how's it going?
How's it going, man?
I'm doing all right. Dawson, we spoke recently, didn't we?
It's not recently, like, it was like 2 weeks.
Yeah, like that. 2 weeks ago or something. Was it about this topic?
Yeah, the topic about sales and shit, you know, that we were talking like scientists till now cannot.
Oh, I
they don't
remember you. You
understand
were
what
the
life is, like,
you were
based
the
on scientific method. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I remember the conversation. But do you think that
That
what shape
kid, you know?
what shape do you think the Earth is?
I didn't hear you.
What shape do you think the Earth is?
Of course, round.
Okay. Well, thanks for being here. Turns out not only does he not know biology, he doesn't know how to read. Like, I'm glad that he thinks it's round, don't get me wrong. Like, that's a good thing, but you know, there's a topic right up there. So maybe thought you meant round flat? Oh, maybe. All right, let's bring up Zilla. Zilla, how's it going?
It's going well. Am I coming in clear? Last couple of chats
Yeah,
have been
you sound
a little
great.
bit. All right, cool.
You sound great. Zilla, what shape do you think the Earth is?
What shape?
Yeah.
It's not a perfect sphere, but it's somewhat spherical.
Okay. Well, I'm glad that we agree on that, but I'm gonna have to let you go.
All right, have a good one.
From Eat Some Shorts with the $5, Flat Earthers use Comic Sans. Why is the text white? Oh, that's heinous. Why is the text white? Hold on, I gotta be able to fix that somehow. Like, that's horrible, right? One sec. Let me see if I can fix that. Okay. Okay, maybe I can't. I'll have to maybe fix it later. It might take too long to figure it out. All right, let's bring up Talker.
Hey,
Talker, how's it going?
what's going on?
Not a whole lot. Talker, what shape do you think the Earth is?
It's a sphere.
Okay, why'd you join?
Well, I just wanted to ask you, like, say if the Earth is a sphere, right? And a
Mhm.
flat earther comes up here and says, no, it's a flat, right? You would be able to say something that's like a smoking gun that proves that the Earth is a sphere, right?
Yep, and you can hear it by watching from the comments. Let's bring up Seagull Artist. Let's bring up a true freak. A true freak, how's it going? Oh, he left too. Oops. Oopsie poopsie. Let's bring up 4. The number 4. The number 4, I am honored to have one of the best numbers out. So 4, what shape do you think the Earth is?
Thank you. Wait, what?
Oh, 4. How old are you? He left on his own. Good. Yeah, I think he was 4. It's really possible that he was 4. Genuinely legit possible. Okay. All right, we have another guest, Solomon. I don't know what's going on today. Solomon, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing all right. Solomon, how old are you?
I'm over the age of 18.
Okay. Solomon, what shape do you think the Earth is?
Do I sound younger than 18? I'm just curious.
Yes.
I do? Oh, wow. No, I'm actually 40, to be honest.
Okay. Well, Solomon, what shape do you think the Earth is?
Yeah, voices can be deceiving. But anyways, so I just want to say that when I was in jail, because I was actually framed by this government for committing a crime that I did not commit.
Solomon, what shape do you think the Earth is?
There was a black chick in jail, and she actually said that
It seems like that was going nowhere. Solomon, if you want to come up and actually answer the question rather than telling some random story, you're welcome to do so, but until then, I'm going to move on. Johnny Razor, how's it going?
Yo, what's going on, bro?
Not a whole lot. Johnny, what shape do you think the Earth is?
The Earth is definitely flat.
Okay, why do you think so?
Because there's no way the Earth is round.
You say there's no way the Earth is round, but like that's the thing I'm asking why you think it's true, right?
I mean, we live in a dome, right?
That's the thing that I'm asking why you think it's true.
Why do I think it's true?
Yeah.
Well, I can't back it up with evidence, but my mind is always right. So it's just like, it's one of those things to where, I don't know, I can't really explain it. You know what I mean?
Oh, it just sounds like this is a troll. So like, unless you want
No,
something that you want to
I'm
talk
being
about, we
serious.
can like.
It's not a troll, and I want you to
Okay,
tell
so
me
then
why the Earth is round.
surely you have reasons to believe the thing that you believe, right?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, what's the reason?
Well, I mean, it's a couple of reasons. I'm just not good at explaining.
Okay, well, maybe think about explaining and then I'll bring you up when you're ready. Ash Sign, how's it going?
I'm doing great. I think the Earth is flat for many different reasons.
Okay, what are the reasons?
All right, so one is that the geographic map, okay, it looks like it's round, but I think that it's not real.
Why not?
And because if you think about it, if you are in a boat or a yacht or something like that, you don't see it fully round. Like it looks like it's everlasting flat.
Okay.
That's
Why do
what I believe.
why do things disappear over the horizon?
Something like that.
Wait, I just asked
Because
you a question. Go ahead.
okay, so basically because you can't see the whole atmosphere, you're only there. Like
What?
when you're going in the water and stuff like that, it's flat.
Why is it that a cruise ship, for example, when it gets far enough away, it gets lower?
It might just be the direction you're at, or something
I don't know
like that.
I don't know what that means. Have you thought
Like,
about this
let's say-
critically?
Let's say if you go east or west, it's gonna look different, the different coast. But when you keep going, it's not just going straight, but if you're just in a certain like open environment, it looks flat. Like for example,
Have you thought
even a
about this
desert.
critically?
A little bit.
What do you make of all of the, say, pictures and videos of the Earth having curvature?
That's a good question.
Sounds like the answer is no to my question of have you considered this critically?
Not really.
Okay.
But I just thought that, for example, open land, open desert, if you're in the ocean, it looks flat from my point of view.
Okay, lots of things look certain ways without being that way.
If you was obviously in space, it would look round. But if you're inside
Okay,
of
so
a
in your
planet-
view, it is actually round. It just looks a certain way when you're close to it?
Yeah, that's how I see it. or
Okay, well,
interpret
thanks
it.
for being here, Ash. Let's talk to, what a name, the Dildo Thief. The Dildo Thief, how's it going?
I'm sorry. I had a stroke. I'm sorry. Okay.
I
I
grant that.
did not. Okay, I did not join this to debate. I just wanted to say that in my nearest supermarket, I found a.
Oops. It was an accident. Whoopsie poopsie. What are the odds of that happening? I can't believe my finger did that without my free will. Oops. Alright, let's bring up Harith. I think I've spoken to Harith before, but I don't remember what I spoke to him about. I should start keeping track of these things like Justin does. Harith, how's it going?
Not bad at all. How are you?
I'm doing alright. Harith, do you think that the Earth is flat?
I believe that the Earth is I believe in geocentrism, but I do believe that the Earth is round. Yeah.
Okay, well, the topic is the shape of the Earth, not like where the Earth is. So I'm gonna let you go. But thanks for being here.
When do you have that?
Let's talk to King J.
Hello?
King J, how's it going?
What's going on, man? What's going on?
Not a whole lot. King J, what shape do you think the Earth is?
Me, I think the Earth. I mean, I don't know. I don't really have an answer to that question. I just have my own theory on it in the sense of.
So you haven't thought about this? What it
I
sounds
mean,
like?
I've thought about it, but we don't know. We don't have an exact answer. That's what I
Who's
came
we?
to my realization. I mean, everybody. If you know for a fact that the Earth is, you know what I'm saying, a sphere, then
Yeah,
you wouldn't be having this conversation.
sure I would.
You know what I'm saying?
No, I don't think that's true.
You don't think so?
No. You can be sure of something and still try to convince other people that they're wrong because they're wrong.
Exactly, but I'm saying as humanity, like for example, we all know we have certain shit as human beings we need to survive,
What?
worldwide, whatever.
What? Okay, he left. I didn't kick him, he left.
Hey,
Anon,
what's going
how's it
on?
going on?
Yeah, I'm doing all right.
How's it going? What shape do you think the Earth is?
Oh, well, because I have a fundamental misinformation. I don't understand basic scientific things. I think that it is flat.
Cool troll. Mods ban him.
Hey, what's up, bro?
The lowest ranking Muslim. That's quite a name.
Yeah, we talked before, brother.
I have no idea who
I
you
brought
are.
you evidence about God.
Ranking. What shape do you think the Earth is?
Bro, that's what I was gonna say. Why can't we have 24-hour coverage of Earth?
We do.
Isn't it weird? Where?
We do. Yeah, the live stream from the
It's
ISS.
on YouTube. Where? I need to see this. It's on YouTube.
Yeah, just look up ISS live stream.
ISS, and it shows Earth like all day.
24/7.
I'm gonna go right now. ISS right now.
Mm-hmm.
better
You can
not be
also go
lying
look
to
at
me.
the Himawari 8 satellite that takes a photo of the Earth every 10 minutes from geostationary orbit. You can go look up the Epic Discover satellite that takes, I think it's every 8 minutes it takes a photo of the Earth.
What the? I need to lose some weight. You hear my
Granted.
commercials? They call me fat as fuck. Bro, like... No, bro. This is what you... Oh, bro, I'm about to bake you right now, bro. Bro, look at it, bro. You're about to get so... Oh my god.
I'm sure. So why do you think that the Earth is
This is the image that they got right now. So they're going over right now watching it. But look at this. Look at this. It's almost as straight as this line right here. Do you see this line right here? And
Oh,
this
okay,
line
this is a
right
troll.
here. It's
Okay.
almost perpendicular.
Let's bring up Zay. Zay, how's it going?
I'm doing good.
Glad to hear it. Zay, what shape do you think the Earth is?
I actually think it's a triangle.
Okay, thanks for being here. Let's talk to Just Glide. Ban him, by the way. We have some super chats. Let's read those while we wait for this person to connect. From Chase Martin Physics with the $2, always good to see you. Maybe Flat Earth really is dead. Yeah, it's possible, but I do see their lives a lot. What ends up happening is that the people who make Flat Earth videos on TikTok, they're afraid to come onto my live stream nowadays. They still exist, they're just afraid. From Garain with the $2, you might need a call screener. I would, except call screeners, you know. Look, from a given call, I don't make enough money to pay a call screener. From Dr. Carlo with the $5, always good to see you. I've thought about this a little, and I just woke up, so I should call a physics PhD and debate the shape of the Earth. Yeah, that's always a good idea, right? From Nighttime with the $10, hello from another undergrad alum. Cheers. Howdy, how's it going? From Jack Fetter with the $2, it may be time to hold services for Flat Earth. Yeah, right? It's getting to that time. All right, let's bring up King E if we can't get a...
You're saying that Flat
Sorry,
Earthers
one sec,
are
King E.
afraid to come up and debate you, my friend?
Yeah, King E, how's it going?
What are you talking about? You've been running away from angels for so long.
I
man.
talked
You
to him
don't
like
even
last week.
Yeah, I mean, but every time, man, he's destroying.
I literally
you. He's
talked to him
walking
like
you
last
a
week.
dog without a leash.
I literally talked to him like last week. How can you say that I'm afraid to bring him up?
Yeah, but you kick him out every time because
I talked to him for over an hour.
Yeah, and he walks you every.
Oh, I mean, that's not what the comment said.
Every single time. And when are you going to change
So,
your...
King E, I'm actually curious. Could you tell me what a reference frame is?
A reference frame? Yeah, it's a reference of an object that you're referencing from.
It doesn't sound like you told me anything.
A reference frame. It's something that you're comparing something to.
It's something you're comparing something to. That's fairly close.
Well, yep, fairly close.
Yeah, fairly
I don't know
close.
the
So can you
exact,
tell me?
I don't know the exact definition of a reference frame, but
that's
I can
okay.
pretty
That's
much
okay.
tell you what it is.
So relative to an airplane that's trying to land on a runway, is the what's it called? The airstrip, the runway. Is the runway moving?
Is the runway moving?
Yeah, relative to the airplane that's trying to land on it.
Yeah, it is moving.
Okay, so why didn't Angels of Light know this?
Well, I mean, he has probably a different opinion than other people.
He thinks that it's stupid to think that the runway is moving relative to the airplane.
Yeah, you think that the runway moves? Is that really
Relative to the airplane?
So
yeah.
So you think the runway is moving?
Oh, he's doing the bit. Wait a minute. Hold on. I just want to double check something.
What you really think, dude?
It's almost perfect.
I just want to double check something.
Of an object that you're referencing.
I don't
know the exact definition of a reference frame, but
that's
I
okay.
can
That's
pretty much
okay.
tell you what it is.
So relative to an airplane that's trying to land on a runway, is the what's it called? The airstrip, the runway. Is the runway moving?
Is the runway moving?
Yeah, relative to the airplane that's trying to land on it.
Yeah, it is moving.
Okay, so why didn't Angels of Light know this? That's awkward, isn't it? King E, if you're trying to run away, you can't just minimize the app. You actually have to close out of the app. There you go. You're welcome. He lasted all of 2 minutes. How embarrassing. Let's bring up the Enigma. The Enigma, how's it going?
Nigger.
You know, I hope that he grows up, realizes that he was kind of a loser as a kid. Infinite Divine Eye, how's it going?
Pretty good. I was trying to send you a formula in there.
In where? I don't know. In where?
In the chat.
Infinite Divine Eye, what shape do you think the Earth is?
I'm not here to debate that. I just had...
Goodbye. It's almost like reading is hard. Right. Oh, by the way, y'all, mods, ban the Enigma. He's currently in the guest box, so make sure to ban him. Or I can do it. Actually, I don't know if I can do it. Is there a way that I can do it from the live stream? From the... Okay, let's bring up this person. Oh. No, they can't even join. We can also probably ban the lowest ranking Muslim. He's a troll. Yeah, if anybody wants to mod, we do need more mods for TikTok. If anybody wants to mod on TikTok, go to the Discord server and you can make a ticket, and you'll be modded as long as you can, you know, answer a few questions. So, you know, go to the Discord server, make a ticket, should have no problems. I missed some super chats from Mechaneering with the $2. The lack of reading comprehension is painful. It might actually explain why all the flat earthers are not here, because they can't read the background. It's like that Simpsons meme where it's like, if those kids could read, they'd be very upset. It's, you know, that thing. All right, let's talk to Rip Van Winkle.
Hello?
Rip Van Winkle, how's it going?
Good, how are you?
Oh, it's King of the Hill, not Simpsons. I'm sorry. I'm doing all right. Winkle, what shape do you think the Earth is?
Oh, well, I think it's flat, because
Why
you
so?
tell me how the fuck, now you tell me how the fuck I'm in Wichita, and I don't see a single fucking hill. I could stand on top of the biggest butte in this fucking state, see the entire thing. I think you're full of shit. See?
Winkle,
You ain't got shit to say to that.
You came in at like a 10. You want to like drop it to like a 6?
No, because you're fucking wrong. You're just wrong.
Okay. Now, look, so you think that you can see the entire state of
I don't think I
wherever
can
the fuck
see
you
it.
can see it?
I know there's about 5 goddamn gas stations in the entire state. I see a BP, I
Sorry,
see
what
a
state
Shell,
are
I
you in?
see...
You're in like Oklahoma or
I'm
something?
in Nebraska, son.
Nebraska, okay. And you think that you can see the entire state of Nebraska?
Yes, we've been over this, friend.
Okay, so, and you think that you can do that from the highest butte in Nebraska?
Yes.
Okay, I'm actually curious how tall the highest mountain is in Nebraska. Above surrounding area. Okay, so the highest butte, it looks like it's 4,900-ish feet up. And the, yeah, so like 4,900-ish feet. I don't think that you could see the entire state of Nebraska from, wait a minute. You said,
know what?
you're
You know
a
what,
troll.
friend?
Okay, goodbye. I don't know where Wichita is. It's in a flyover state, that's all I know. From Jack Fetter with the $5, the only thing reliable about FLERFS is their ability to fail in such an epic manner. That's true. That's a good point. All right, let's bring up Fiona Tickler. And if Fiona Tickler's just a troll, then we'll probably just change topics. Fiona Tickler.
Hi.
How's it going?
I'm going good. How are you?
I'm doing all right. Fiona, what shape do you think the Earth is?
I think it is round.
Okay, why'd you join? Fiona? Okay. We do still have a few other guests that we can check that are in the guest box.
Hello,
Hey
Doctor.
there,
How
how's
are
it
you
going?
It's going amazing. How about you?
I'm doing okay. What should I call you? Because I can't read your name.
I'm sorry. My name is Shihab. if you
Shihab?
can say it.
All right,
Yes.
Shihab, what shape do you think the Earth is?
I think the Earth is globe, sir.
Okay, well, thanks for being here.
I'm sorry.
Let's talk to Sativa World. Sativa World, how's it going?
Oh shit.
You've had a lot to smoke, haven't you? Yeah, he left. All right, let's talk to CD's Nuts. That's funny. CD's Nuts, how's it going?
Oh yeah.
Your connection's a little bit on the...
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Yeah, CD's Nuts. What shape do you think the Earth is?
I think it's the shape of a donut.
Okay. All right. I think that I mean, there's still people in the guest box. So the question is do we take the chance or do we change topics? I mean, we still have 2 minutes or so before we hit the half-an-hour mark of trolls. But if we, if we can't get that, if we can't get it to half an hour, then the Axel, how's it going?
So do you think like flat
What
Earth
shape do you
is
think
that
the Earth is,
doomy?
the Axel?
I just want to ask a simple question.
Nope.
When you
All right, let's talk to Sissy Manchild, and they will probably be our last attempt. Sissy
Let's
Manchild, how's it
go.
going? What shape do you think the Earth is?
Earth is flat.
Why do you think so?
It's obvious. Everyone's using ocular lenses to record things. The axle can be explained by the 4 pillars. People are brainwashed. People just believe what they see from the screen world.
Yeah, okay, you want to try again without the troll?
I mean, I can just keep explaining. The sun rotates around. You've seen the models. The sun can only go and cover so much. First of all, it's a hologram. So is the moon.
It's a hologram, you say?
Yeah, modern physics thinks they can explain everything. They just simply can't. Everything can be put into the same formulas that fits with the standard model of a flat Earth. Some of those guys are weird
The
online.
standard model of the flat Earth? What's the standard model of the flat Earth?
I mean, the one you have there is pretty close up there. And you
Really,
need
it's
4 pillars.
it's a oh,
doesn't-
okay.
it's not a
Those are the
cone.
pillars okay, that's fine. We can let them go. Okay, I think that we might have to retire the flat Earth videos or the flat Earth debates for now. We can just change topics. We'll just shift topics a little bit. Because, seems like the flat Earth really is dead. Such is the way of things. All right, let's talk to Chad. Chad, how's it going?
Hey, I was still on the flat Earth thing. So
Okay, you want to talk about the shape of the Earth? What shape do you think the Earth is?
I think it's flat.
It's flat. Why do you think the Earth is flat?
Well, I just don't. I've never seen like a real picture of. I've not seen 3 pictures of the Earth taken from outer space that are even remotely the same.
That are even remotely the same? What do you mean the same?
Well, sometimes one continents are bigger than one. You know.
Well, yeah, you would expect
that.
that. You would expect that given things like focal length of the camera that's being used, right?
Yeah, but some of them, like Africa, takes up almost the whole.
Yeah, it's a focal length thing.
Side of the Earth.
I can show you if you'd like.
Sure.
Okay, let me pull up something for you, and hopefully it'll clarify. There's a nice little app. So I'm going to show you the 1972 blue marble. That's the one that you're probably referring to. One sec. So you're probably talking about, where is it? This one, right? This one here? Oh, I'm sorry. For some reason, it's not. One sec. We'll get to this. We'll get to that. So you're probably talking about this one, right?
Well, I'm talking about.
This is the one where Africa looks like it's too big.
No, just find me. Okay, what is that continent right there? Is that?
That's Africa.
Africa, would you say?
Yeah, and you can see a little corner of Saudi Arabia.
All right, find me 2 more pictures where Africa is exactly the same dimensions.
Well, the size of continents will depend on the focal length that's being used, and I can show you a nice little demo of that. This is something that somebody made. There is a website that he has. Where is it? Like a simulation tool. One sec. Let me see if I can find it really quick.
So you can't find a real picture. You just gotta.
No. I'm showing you how the focal length is as you expect it to be, given. Sorry, the shape of Africa is as you expect it to be, given the focal length that was used. And I know I have this somewhere. This is a. No, that's not what I'm looking for. I could have sworn I had it somewhere, but maybe I.
So
I mean, I know it's on this GitHub.
Somebody generically made a demonstration of why that is like that. Is that what you're trying to look at?
Yeah, so I'm looking at this GitHub, and I know it's on this GitHub. I just don't remember how to actually, because they had like an interactive slider thing that you could like fiddle with, and I just don't remember how to get there. Does anybody remember off the top of their head? The app also, like, there's, oh, click below to execute in browser. There we go. I'm dumb. I should have just read the thing. So yeah, so here's what I'm talking about. It's this nice little app. So there's we can change the distance that you are from the Earth. So here I'm changing it, I'll change it to like 42,000 or something, 42,000 kilometers away, and I can change the
diameter
field of view of the. So what this app is doing is it's basically controlling the zoom so that the diameter is always fixed, because you can always zoom in and out, right? And that'll just keep the size the same. But what it'll do is it will change the apparent size of the continents. See how as I'm zooming it, and actually we can see exactly what's going on here.
So when they go out in outer space, what kind of camera are they usually using generally?
They'll tell you.
Or
so look.
What
look
kind
how,
of cameras do they have?
So do you
on
see how
satellites?
I'm getting closer and further?
No.
You don't see on the right. On the right, you can see how it's getting closer and further, right? So now see how it's getting bigger and smaller? Do you see that? So I fixed the field of view, and now all we need to do is we just need to, so if we fix the field of view, so now we're just zooming in. I'm going to lock the field of view. Now if you change the distance, see how the continents change their size? So if you're closer, the continents will appear bigger, even if the size of the planet is the same. Like even if you zoom in accordingly. So that's exactly what's happening here. That's why, if I can pull it up again, that's why Africa looks perhaps bigger than you might think.
Why don't my Apple phones do the same thing?
They do the same thing. All you have to do is if you get a basketball, and actually, I think that there's actually a demo I can show you of this. Let me see if I can find it really quick. There's a demo of somebody actually doing this with a basketball or something akin to it, where they just get closer and further away.
As you can see, the two size difference.
Hold on, I don't need the video. I don't need the. Oh yeah, this is a buddy. Yeah, so here you go. This is a buddy of mine. Okay, so here we have a globe, right? This is a video of a globe, but so this has they're a distance of 6 meters away, and they have a focal radius, or they have the globe is 50 millimeters, and now as they get closer, look how the size of the continents are changing. See that? And this is just like a physical globe. I don't know if he plays it again. Like it's just like a thing. Like you can see distortions based off of your field of view, and how much you zoom in, right? So like this is a thing that will happen on your iPhone. It absolutely will. You just have to actually try it. If you're close to something and then you use a wide angle lens, then the continents will look bigger than if you're far away from something and you don't use a wide angle lens. By the way, there's a lot of background noise. I hope you can reduce that. That'd be good. Your mic's really quiet. You there?
I am here.
Okay. So, I mean, that's. Are you able to go to a place with less background noise? Chat.
Yeah, it's better now, right?
Yeah, it is. So, not really, actually.
All right.
So, right, so that's why Africa looks the way it does. It's because they were a certain distance away. If they were closer, Africa would look bigger. If they were further... All right, I gotta let you go. This is absurd. It's, like, insufferable. All right, we have some super chats from Jack Fetter with the $5. Okay, today we hit bottom, literally scraping the barrel. None more stupid. End of file. No through road. Exactly. Yeah, it's exactly what it seems like. From Marasin with the, from Mr. Assassin with the $5. What is the ice wall to them? Earth is round. They think that it's some sort of barrier that keeps the water in. And from Chase Martin Physics with the $5, caller sounds like he is calling from a World War I plane in the midst of a dogfight. He's under heavy fire, but flat Earth is too important. And he's time traveling? I know, right? All right, let's bring up Blur-Spa. Blur-Spa, how's it going?
Oh, hello?
Howdy.
Yeah, we've been in the queue for a while, my bad. Give me a second.
Couldn't have been waiting that long.
I just gotta mute my TV home.
Okay.
All right, so you say God isn't real?
No, I say that the Earth wasn't created.
So, okay, never mind. If you do believe in a God,
I don't believe in a God, but that's not the topic.
Oh, okay. Well, never mind. I was gonna debate about God, but...
Okay, well, that's not what the background says, so I'm gonna let you go.
My apologies.
It's like reading is so hard for these people. Like, what is going on? All right, let's talk to It's Official Xavier. It's Official Xavier, how's it going? Xavier? Oh, and he left. Let's talk to Lamentable One. Lamentable One, how's it going?
Oh, it's going well. It's going well. You reached my death scroll again.
Okay. Do you think that the Earth was created?
Now are you qualifying that as an intelligent creation or a creation as it did not used to exist and then it came into existence?
I take creation to mean like an intentional act of formation of something.
Okay. All right. Well, I wish there was an easy answer to that. I do believe that
I'm just asking you what you think.
Well, okay, so I do believe that it was, but I do believe it's false because it's the supernatural acts can't be proven, so it doesn't matter.
Why would you believe a false thing?
Well, no, you don't believe a false thing. You believe a thing that science cannot prove and is false by the inability to prove. That's not the same as believing. It's not the same as believing something that is untrue.
So something isn't false because it can't be proven true. That doesn't make something false.
The word Karl Popper's falsification literally means
falsification is a process. False is not the same thing as falsification.
Well, proving something false is falsification, or am I wrong?
If you were to prove something false, that would be falsification. But just because something is not falsifiable does not mean that it is false.
No, thank you. You literally just said what I said.
So why would you say that? Why would you say that it's false despite you believing it? Unless you actually think it is false. Unless you think it's not true.
I have to think. Now we're a little bit tangled. I might have misspoke, but let me double check.
Okay.
False would only apply to hypotheses that can be falsified. So
no, false is a property of propositions.
Oh, okay. But
propositions are either true or false if you accept the law of the excluded middle, of course. And so whether or not it's falsifiable, whether or not it's empirically verifiable, it's completely unrelated to whether or not a proposition is either true or false.
Okay, well, I'm going to, all right, my belief and my experience and observations tell me that it is an unfalsifiable proposition. So whether that means it is itself false or I believe it's false.
It does not mean that.
So, all right, so then maybe I don't believe it's false, I guess. Okay.
Yeah, it'd be kind of strange to believe it's false, but also believe it's true. Because that's when you believe something, that means that you think it's true.
Yeah, but not saying that you don't believe it's false is not the same as saying it's true. They are not diametrically.
I agree. You said that it is false, but you believe it.
I think I might have misspoken.
That's possible. So why do you believe it's true?
I believe it's true because I have a faith. The observations that I have are not. There are too many. There are too many unfalsifiable propositions, and there are too many falsified propositions for me to accept that I cannot become scientismic is the word I think it is. Scientism. I cannot subscribe to scientism. I cannot accept that science is the source of truth. It's a source of wisdom. It is a source of knowledge, but it is perpetually reinventing itself, and no absolute truth can derive from it. I love science. I pursued it, and it's been my engineering and science in my life, but I don't believe that it is ever going to explain everything, especially not the why questions. And so this place was created because the alternatives don't explain it.
I mean, like, the formation of the Earth is perfectly well accounted for using a scientific or physical description.
Well, there are several models that put. Well, no, we've already found things older than the 4.6 billion projection. We've already found a grouping.
I'm talking about the Earth forming. Earth forming. So you're saying that we found something from the solar system that's older than 4.6 billion years?
I don't have it at my fingertips, but yes, we have found some things that change the dynamic. I read it recently, and
okay, let's do some Googling together.
Okay, yeah, there's something that they said it challenges the formation. The disk shape of the solar system has been explained, but for a long time by a certain way, and it has recently been upset by a new discovery.
Okay, challenges the formation of solar system model. How about we Google this? This is recent, you said, yes?
Yeah. I read it recently, and I think it was within the past 5 years, the discovery.
Okay, so was it from McMaster News? Inside Out Solar System Challenges Theories of Planet Formation?
Possibly. What's the original source of that?
I don't know. Let's find out. Find out together. This is from a few months ago. The findings were published this week in Science, which is a journal. It's just called Science. Gas-depleted planet formation occurred in the 4-planet system around the red dwarf LHS 1903. Is it this?
Gas-depleted planet formation occurred in the 4-planet system around dwarf LHS Oh, okay. So when they were observing LHS 1903, they said, I can't. I don't. No, I don't recall that one. But
look, I mean, we can keep digging, but like, I don't know. It's like you got to give me a little bit more than just challenges the formation of solar system model. Otherwise,
sorry,
we're probably not going to find it.
Yeah, I wasn't prepared for that level of. I'm actually just cleaning my garage right now, so I just really wasn't ready.
That's fine. But look, so like you'll have to forgive me if I just don't believe you that this is something that's come out. I can just Google really quick. Challenges age of solar system. I'll Google that because that sounded like it was kind of the original claim that like somehow there is something that's challenging the age of the solar system. The first one comes from Answers in Genesis. The next one comes from the Institute for Creation Research. This one says the solar system may be over 1 million years older than thought. Like, what? That's less than 1% older than we thought it was.
Well, yeah, but the underlying mechanics of it is what was challenged in the thing that I saw.
Okay, well, that's not this.
Right. It had something to do with the disk structure of it could not be explained. The math didn't work out ultimately with the
disk structure. You mean like the protoplanetary disk?
Yeah. Yes.
So we see protoplanetary disks out in space right now.
Right, galaxies and everything. Yeah.
No, not galaxies. Protoplanetary disks. These are disks around stars that are forming planets.
I know, and the mark right, but with that, they had an age determination for how long this thing took.
The age of the solar system isn't related to the formation method. Those are not really related concepts.
Sure, yes, the process determines the time of the process. It really does.
Well, no, the question is, so look, there's two different things. There's one, which is a process, so it's going to take some amount of time, but however long that amount of time is, whatever it is.
Different processes
and then there's the amount of time it's been since the process happened. The age of the solar system is the latter, whereas the former is talking about the mechanism of formation. So
which one's
it seems like the mechanism of solar system formation is not really going to have a significant influence on the time that it's been since the solar system formed. So I don't get how a discussion about the protoplanetary disk formation is going to inform on how old the solar system is.
Okay, quickly, because one of those was observed, one of those was deduced. Was the age deduced from the formation process, or was the process deduced from the age?
Neither.
Or are you
they're
both
independent.
Observations?
They're independent.
You're saying they're both observations, standalone.
I mean, they're both inferences, right?
Okay, right. I think they actually do relate. All right, we're going to agree to disagree, but I believe they relate. I think the process.
Okay, what's the relation between the protoplanetary disk model and radiometric dating?
I'm not prepared for this discussion, but if we can get back.
But you hold a belief about it. Surely, if you hold a belief about it, surely you have a reason for holding that belief.
The belief isn't derived from of the error in the age. It's derived from the fact that we are still discovering new evidence that changes our fundamental models.
That wasn't my question. My question was, I was addressing a specific claim that you made. You made the claim that the age of the Earth is related to the formation mechanism of the Earth, the formation mechanism of the solar system, perhaps. That somehow the way that we figured out how old the Earth is related to the model that we use to understand how the Earth formed. And so, at least to me, it sounded like that you were saying that those two things were related, whereas I'm informing you, or at least I'm holding the position that they're not. So if you think that they are related, why do you think that they're related?
Just like if you mix any two chemicals, the process that you mix them with is going to determine the time it takes for the thing to come into solution or not, or do its reactions.
Look,
the processes have a certain time, and if you have a
let's take a simple example, and just to illustrate, and we can use the chemical example just to illustrate my point. So, a good example of a chemical reaction that we're all familiar with is combustion, right? When you burn something. So, say that you, I don't know, you take a piece of paper and you light it on fire. There's some chemical reaction there. We have some sort of mechanism that we describe using, the laws of physics and chemistry to describe how the chemicals are reacting, like what's going on, where the electrons are going, how the bonds are breaking, etc. This describes the whole process of combustion.
Right.
And then if you waited an hour and a half, the amount of time that it's been, if you were to try to guess how long it's been since you burnt the paper, the amount of time that it's been since you burned the paper is not really related to the actual process by which the paper burned. They're just kind of two unrelated things.
No, you're right. But unfortunately, the analogy you're using is observation, whereas we were discussing something that has inference.
Okay,
data.
and what I'm getting at is that the inferences that we use to come to these conclusions that the Earth formed via, the standard protoplanetary disk model, or via a mechanism that involves the standard protoplanetary disk model, and the way that we determine the age of the Earth, these are two unrelated inferences. They don't rely on one another.
All right. Can we try to bring it back to this topic?
I mean, we kind of are. The topic is that you think it's created. You think it's created because you think that, the science is not trustworthy. At least that's what it sounded like you were saying.
No.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
I'm saying that science does have... So first of all, it is my firm understanding through, and this has been cited by many, many prominent scientists, that the end result, the product of science, is utility. It isn't truth. Okay, science doesn't look for absolutes. In fact, it questions everything that it puts out. And
hold on, I don't know who's said that it's utility. I mean,
one of the definitions was it might have been Niels Bohr wrote a dissertation on it. But it's a pragmatic exercise. The reason that we conduct science,
to be clear, that is one particular philosophy of science. But as far as I'm concerned, and I've spoken with many scientists, being one myself, the reason people conduct science is not utility. People do it out of curiosity because they're interested in understanding the world.
Try getting a grant for a curiosity.
That's irrelevant to the reason why scientists do science. People will write whatever they write so they can get money. That's irrelevant to the reason people do the science.
Well, all right. My experience is when you get something in Nature or Science magazine, you basically have your summary is about what this benefits, except theoretical, physics and things like that.
Okay, so accept the exceptions, right?
Well, theoretical stuff, right? Yeah, I mean that's just an exercise in mathematics, but
well, it's not, but okay. If it was just an exercise in mathematics, then it'd be called mathematics, not theoretical science.
All right. Well, it has a lot of mathematic modeling, but okay. Well, right.
Yeah, that's true.
But it uses observations in mathematics. It doesn't use it doesn't really even. It tries to predict things. Okay. Yeah. We found black holes, but we didn't find white holes, and so the math is kind of there, but we don't care, right? We don't
know what you mean by we don't care.
Well, we're not going to abandon general relativity because it predicts things that can't exist, like white holes.
General relativity doesn't predict white holes.
Which did he use to predict the black holes?
Einstein didn't predict black holes. Schrodinger produced the first metric that makes that is a result that talks about a space-time with an eternal black hole. But we don't see eternal black holes. Eternal black holes don't exist. What we see are astrophysical black holes. Astrophysical black holes are best described by a model produced by Oppenheimer and Snyder. And their model does not predict white holes. It only predicts black holes.
Really?
And it relies on relativity. Yeah, there is no relativistic model that describes the formation of a white hole that we would expect to see in the world around us. That's not a prediction of relativity, that we should see white holes.
Well, in order for the equality sign to balance out, isn't it true that the existence of black holes should, if all things are equal and the conservation laws are preserved, then there should actually be white holes? Doesn't predict in that way?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, all right. Well, I'm reading a lot of stuff that's not true. Okay. Well, I don't know. White holes are a topic for some reason, and
they're a topic. People are interested in this idea because they're
to be predicted.
By who?
They're alleged to be. Oh, I'm cleaning my garage. I don't.
Look. The reality is that so what is What does exist in relativity is eternal solutions. The eternal Schwarzschild solution is a solution that has a white hole and a black hole, and they're joined at something called an Einstein-Rosen bridge. But these are not a space-time that we live in. We do not expect, and general relativity does not predict, that white holes exist in a space-time like ours.
Okay. So what are we using this mathematical model for practically? I mean, we did use it
general relativity.
No. Well, let's say the Einstein-Rosenberg bridge. I mean, what utility does that have for us?
It doesn't have any utility. It's not a real thing.
Okay.
That's why.
Then for what reason does it exist?
It just kind of falls out of the mathematics, and this idea was formulated like a year after Einstein put out his paper on relativity. So they were just writing down the simplest possible solutions, and the simplest possible solution contains an Einstein-Rosen bridge. At least that's what it's called now.
And that
it was named that 20 years later, but.
And in order for those equations to work, there should be two sides of the bridge, a black hole and a white hole.
No, the bridge connects two sides. So there's a black hole where the white hole meets the black hole. That's a bridge from this universe to another universe in the standard Schwarzschild metric.
Okay, I thought it was similar to the way that we predicted the Higgs boson. The quark. Well, the Higgs field. What is it? The God particle? What am I thinking about?
I don't know what you're thinking about, but
we got it back in the 50s. We finally found it. It was predicted. It was predicted in the math.
It was the 70s or late 60s, early 70s. Yeah, the Higgs. You're thinking of the Higgs field.
The Higgs field, and there was a Higgs particle, Higgs boson.
The Higgs boson, which is an excitation of the Higgs field. Yeah.
I didn't want to call it a boson right away because I didn't think it was a nucleon or anything like. But it was Higgs boson, right? And then through those mathematical predictions, we were able to get the money and the funding. And I think it was in California that we actually. We found one.
It was in Switzerland, but good guess.
Oh, okay. All right. Not too far off.
It's only halfway around the world, but
right.
Yeah. So the model was extraordinarily successful, and so. There was good reasons to test to make sure that we had a good understanding of the model, and that would require actually finding a Higgs boson. So, what's the issue?
Well, yeah. So I thought it was a similar circumstance where we had a mathematical prediction that said, "Hey, this thing should exist, and that we should be looking for white holes." And now people are saying it's kind of absurd. So that was what I was like.
Yeah, okay. Huh? So the difference is that nobody was looking for black holes until it was shown via the Oppenheimer-Snyder model, and this is the same Oppenheimer who made the bomb, by the way. The Oppenheimer-Snyder model showed that they could actually form in the real world, and then Penrose showed in the 60s that these things would generically form and there would generically be a singularity, etc. And, this is the 50s and 60s at this point. Well, the Oppenheimer-Snyder model, I think, was the 30s. But Penrose and Penrose's colleagues in the 50s and 60s were the ones who really showed that it's plausible that black holes could actually form, whereas none of the same kinds of claims were being made about white holes.
Oh, okay. All right. All right.
But regardless, I mean, the point is that why are people why did people fund the search for the Higgs boson? Was it utility? No, of course not. What's the utility of the Higgs boson?
Well, all right. Okay. So a certain amount of right. Okay, kind of. All right. Definitely, applied sciences is all about utility. But you're talking about the natural sciences. Okay, I can. Just to get an edge. I think it's just basically just to get an edge over mastery of our universe. I don't think rote curiosity says, "Oh, I wonder if that's there."
Then you clearly don't know many scientists.
Well, the driving thought, I think, is I wonder if this could change the way we do things. I mean, look. Maybe it's too much Hollywood. But says this is going to change the world. Is the buzz line in every?
It changes the world in that. It changes our understanding, right? It doesn't there is no expected practical use of anything about the Higgs field for, nobody. I don't think anybody's made any sort of predictions about how we could potentially use this knowledge of the Higgs field that we have. I don't think that's I mean, maybe
But
in 1,000 years, but like nobody has any expectation of that being the case.
But proving its existence fuels the quest to move the chess piece further down the road, and so knowing more about it, I think that knowledge itself is a quest of science, and then
that's curiosity. How do you get? Why do people seek knowledge? Because they're curious.
Okay, but the end goal, the drive is finally says, how can I use this? I think that's the ultimate question is how can I use this?
That's because you're an engineer, not a scientist.
Oh, all right. Yeah, it's kind of not wrong, but well, anyway. So to the answer is creationism is false. I'm going to, well, first of all, a faith is a faith, and I'm not going to try to define it as anything else. And everybody. This is probably going to be debatable with you, but everyone does have a faith in something. It's impossible to go through the world with on just rote. I know this is going to happen. And
hold on, just to be clear, having absolute knowledge is not the opposite. Is not the only other option besides faith, right? This is just it's like not a true dichotomy.
Right, but you're never going to achieve absolute truth without absolute knowledge, right?
You don't need absolute truth. You don't need absolute knowledge in order to function in the world. You can go based off of high credence or based off of probabilities. You can go off of rational argumentation. You can go off of evidence. Those don't get you absolute truth, but they can lead to justified beliefs, which are not faith.
Right. So if I try, let me try to bridge this back to creationism. Okay. So. This is going to sound like a segue, but give me a little levity here for just a second. All right. So, and I'm going to go because you're asking why questions, and
I'm not asking why questions, by the way.
Oh, you're not.
No.
Why? Well, you did ask me why I believe X or Y.
Oh, I thought you meant why questions about the world. I thought not about you. Yeah. I'd love to know why. I'd love to know why if there's some good reason for why you think that the Earth was created.
Yeah, right. You've been probing the reasoning behind my philosophy, and you've been doing that with why questions. So I'm going to diverge a little bit now. I have accepted mostly. I think it's just the first principles. And when I was studying nuclear propulsion in the U.S. Navy, and I started watching. Microscopic and macroscopic cross sections for absorptions are all probabilistic. You got stochastic processes, and then you look up at the table of the elements and the isotopes of uranium-235 and 238. Well, they have a half-life of, and there's a number there.
Yep, 730 million years and 4.5 billion years or so, respectively.
And I used to be I used to really believe. In a causal universe, I used to believe that all things came about from something before it as an effect of some cause. And then I looked at this table, and there is a number, and that you can't have numbers. That you have products, you have sums, you have products, but you don't have numbers.
What do you mean you can't have numbers? What? I don't understand that.
The same thing that confuses about quantum mechanics originally. Quantified things, you should be able to cut things in half infinitely according to the mathematical model, whatever. Now, a number for the decay ratio that is not affected by any of the forces in the universe. That number will not change if it gets hotter or cooler.
That's true. Well, to be clear, these are ground state decay rates. So, in the lowest energy state for that particular nucleon, or that particular nucleus rather, those are the decay rates. You can induce decay by, say, exciting the nucleus.
Well, I mean, that's how a light water reactor works. It doesn't rely on the natural decay rate.
You use neutron bombardment, right?
Right, and that destabilizes the nucleus, and it goes into something other than radioactive decay. It's not the radioactive decay that's generated, and
we would call it induced fission, right? But it is still the same process.
It's same process
as spontaneous fission, which is a thing that happens.
It doesn't change the fact that there's a number there, and the fact that number is universal. So we can look at that number and say, if the quantity of uranium-235 in the universe right now is X, We know at 7 billion years, or I forget what the number is again. You know that off the top of your head. That's great. I used to. I actually that was required to memorize. I don't know it anymore. At that 7, you're going to have half of x, and at 14, you're going to have a quarter of x, and then an eighth of an x, and a 16th of x.
Sure.
And that process just trying to understand how that process can work naturally, organically. Just it's not a caused thing, and we've already declared it to be a spontaneous event, right?
Yeah, sure. So what's the issue?
Well, it's when you lose causality, you lose the ability to find a how, right? I mean, how can only work if something is caused. When you have a spontaneous event, you can't even ask the question of how.
So what you can do,
yeah.
What you can do in this case is you can give a mechanism for how the decay process happens, but what you can't do is you can't give a mechanism that explains why it happens when it happens, if that makes sense.
No, I've done.
And so when we're talking about, for example, alpha decay, right? Alpha decay is pretty well understood as tunneling through a strong nuclear force barrier that is kind of accelerated by a repulsive Coulomb force. So there is an energy barrier from the strong nuclear force keeping the thing in, but if it can get past that barrier, then it will want to escape because the Coulomb, the electrostatic force is repulsive. And so that's an explanation as to how alpha decay works. It won't tell you when a specific alpha decay will happen, but it will tell you the rate at which alpha decay happens, as in you expect to get this many alpha decays in this amount of time.
Okay, so let's recall the 3 elements required for causality. There's temporal precedence, right? There's non-spuriousness, right? And there is what's the third one again? Causality. It's temporal precedence, non-spontaneity, and
I've never heard this list, by the way, and I've spoken with a lot of people. Temporal precedence, non-spontaneity.
Definition of causality.
I don't think that's a definition. I've never heard that definition, but so I guess so the AI overview, and who knows if we should trust this. This is how we understand cause and effect.
Non-spuriousness. Non-spuriousness. I'm sorry.
Okay, non-spuriousness. I just want to see if this is on some in Stanford Encyclopedia of Philosophy or something like that.
I think it's a correlation between the two.
Oh, you're talking about establishing cause. You're talking about establishing cause instead of mere correlation.
Right. Causality. Right. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So
right.
this is causality. Causality means a different thing relatively. You mean cause compared with a causative relationship as opposed to a correlative relationship.
Right. Yes.
As in variable x causes variable y to change, as opposed to variable x is merely correlated. Okay, sure.
Right.
Yeah.
Correlation is the third element. The correlation is the third element, right? You have to start with correlation.
I thought that non-spuriousness was the third element.
Well, all right. Okay. Maybe.
So at least according to Statistics Solutions, which I guess this is like a consulting business where they have statisticians, they say that the 3 criteria for cause and effect are association, and this is regarding an independent variable and a dependent variable, are association, time ordering, and non-spuriousness.
Yes.
So association, of course, that's the correlation. The time ordering is that x needs to precede or at least be simultaneous to y, and non-spuriousness means that they have to be somehow related to each other.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. And this is the test to show that they are a cause and effect.
It's a little bit more involved than that. There are specific mathematical tests that you can use to show causal relations rather than correlative relations. But that's sure. That's simple enough.
So you've got the alpha decay mapped out. But so now if we want to fit that into general relativity, we have to observe the light cone, right?
Observe the light cone of what?
The cause can only reach the effect. No, there's a light cone that projects back from the event. The effect.
Yeah, the past light cone of some sort of for example, an alpha decay. What about it?
Right. If I'm going to shoot a pool cue, I'm going to shoot the pool ball down there. I have to hit that ball lower than the speed of light.
So the thing is look, I think that we're just like kind of confusing the matter. The point is that we can't establish an independent variable for the time at which the dependent for the dependent variable being the time at which the alpha decay occurs for a given atom. There is no such independent variable.
And what that essentially signifies is if we have modeled an alpha decay in that fashion, but that alpha decay could happen either in the next millisecond or the next 10 billion years, depending on no factor whatsoever, it is essentially spurious.
No, it's not spurious. It's that there's no association, right?
Okay. All right.
There's definitely a relationship between the nucleonic potential, for example, with the strong nuclear force and the Coulomb force, and the rate of alpha decay, for example. So it's very much non-spurious. It's that there's no association between an independent and dependent variable. That's the issue.
Well,
there's no independent variable that controls when the alpha decay event happens. But
right.
I don't see how this is related to the question of whether or not creationism is true or not.
Okay, right. All right. So anyway, this was about how my philosophy evolved. All right. That was your question was. And when I saw something that was spontaneous, when I saw something that wasn't a simple something happens and then you set a certain timer and you follow a light cone through causality, obey general relativity, and then the effect happens. It's all nice and mathematical, like almost everything else is. Then I started to really probe deeper into the questions of why, and the ultimate how, and it kind of like the first principles how, and the ones that can't be answered through causality, and that didn't bring me to Christianity. It just brings me at least to Spinoza's God or something.
How does this get you to thinking that the Earth was created intentionally?
Well, because
look, you can believe in God and then also think that the Earth formed naturally. Those are not in conflict.
Right. Is that rhetoric or a question? Because that's a question. I have that.
Well, I mean, that wasn't really a question. It was more of a statement. There wasn't even a question mark at the end. But the first part was a question.
That answer's fleshed out. The answer's fleshed out pretty well.
So how is it that gets you to thinking that the Earth was created by a god, or created by an entity, perhaps not by a god, but intentionally created?
So first, I established in my own mind that there is no testable or promoted theory that could explain it otherwise, as in by accident or by a natural occurrence of things. And I have read Brief History of Time, Stephen Hawking, and I know
wait, hold on. We're talking about Earth formation. There's no theory that can account for the formation of the Earth.
Oh no! I'm going broader, universe formation. But yeah, I'm not. No, the Earth formation is what it is today, and it may change tomorrow. Okay, and I accept that. Yeah, we can discover more.
No. So are you saying that you think that the Earth did form naturally, like via gravitational accretion and
All right, if you're not going to let me answer the other question, this is going to go in circles.
I just need to clarify, because it sounded like at the beginning you were saying that you think that the Earth didn't form naturally because there's these questions about the protoplanetary disk, and the models are changing, and it sounded like you were pushing back against the formation of the Earth specifically.
Okay.
The protoplanetary disk models, and now it sounds like you're just accepting that, oh yeah, the Earth formed naturally, and I'm actually talking about the universe. So it sounded like you're kind of moving the goalposts here.
No, that's not at all what I'm saying.
Okay, what are you saying?
Right. So radioactive decay is a great model. All right, I'm going to build a block of 1,000 moles of uranium-235. By some process, I'm going to fuse the atoms together, and I'm going to have 1,000 moles of uranium-235. And they're all going to form within almost spontaneous. We're going to shoot this thing in there, and we're going to create it. And pragmatically, very difficult, but technically possible. Do you agree?
Sure. What does this have to do with addressing my apparent confusion over what your beliefs are?
All right, here you go. I'm going to take that block, and I'm also going to mine a block of uranium-235 that formed at some arbitrary time through the process. I can put them side by side. Now, in order to differentiate these two, they're both 1,000 moles of uranium-235. One was formed immediately, and one was harvested out of the ground, and it may be billions of years old, and centrifuged and enriched, right?
Sure.
So block A is going to be the instant one, and B is going to be the aged one. Which one will decay faster?
They won't decay at different rates.
Thank you. You will not be able to discern the one that was created immediately and the one that was created a long time ago.
Okay.
Because the process to do it is not causal. All right.
What does this have to do with the apparent contradiction?
Right. So an Earth. Put two Earths side by side, one that was made 10,000 years ago and one that was made 4.6 billion years ago. Your argument is that we should be able to tell them apart. I'm saying that no, there's no reason
if they're governed by natural laws, you absolutely could, right?
If they're right, well, so is uranium.
So the natural laws that we require in order to, like, if you had a genuinely 10,000-year-old Earth, and it just had, and you know, that 10,000-year-old Earth, like, it formed actually 10,000 years ago, then, you know, via natural processes, then there are certain ways that we could tell that it formed 10,000 years ago as opposed to 4.5 billion years ago. That's not in question. Now, if you instead propose that the Earth could have formed 10,000 years ago by magic, then perhaps, then maybe you can't distinguish them.
So it could be magic, or you could denounce the Unitarianism principle that we assume.
You mean
that
uniformitarianism, not Unitarianism.
I know, I always screw that up. Uniformitarianism.
Wait a minute, hold on. So are we now going back to rejecting that the Earth formed naturally? Because it sounded like just a minute ago that you were saying, okay, yeah, Earth formed, whatever. I'm talking about the universe. So which one is it? Are we talking about the formation of the Earth or the formation of the universe? I just want you to pick one and we can talk about it.
Yeah, well, I can cut this conversation very short if you allow me to answer your rhetoric. Okay.
This isn't rhetoric. I really need to know what, like, at this point, I'm just confused about what your beliefs are.
I promise you, it's a very easy to understand answer. It's a very easy to understand answer, but you gotta let me move down my path. All right. And I'm going to take much less time than you will by probing it.
Maybe, so I'll let you do that as long as you can answer this question straightforwardly.
Yeah.
How long ago do you think the Earth formed?
I will answer that and when I'm done, because it'll make sense.
Please just answer it really quick and then you can explain.
Both.
There weren't two options.
Yes, there are. There's 4.6.
I'm asking you for a number.
Look,
I'm asking you for a number. How many years ago do you think it was that the Earth didn't exist?
I'm saying it's very simply possible for a person that can create a 40-year-old man in one day to create a 4 billion-year-old planet in one.
Okay, so so on the sixth day of creation, right? In Genesis 1, man is created on the sixth day.
He was an adult.
Did man exist on the fifth day?
No.
Okay, so then it's just false to say that he was created 40 years prior. That he formed 40 years prior. He formed on day 6. So I'm asking you, how long ago was the Earth formed?
Okay. Okay. In my model of the universe, I would say whatever the calculation is. I don't agree with the calculations of 10,000 years, by the way, because they're unaccounted spans. I do not believe it has been 4.6 billion years.
Why?
In actual progressed time. But it is that old. It is, however.
Well, I mean, it's not. That's just not what old means. It just it looks as if it's that old, is what you want to say. But that's neither here nor there. The point is why do you think that it's not actually 4.6-ish billion years of progressed time? That's what I've been trying to understand why you think that now for like 40 minutes, by the way.
Okay, and that's not arrived. That's not arrived from our current models of science. That's arrived at by my faith and my observations in the world of how impossible it is for these scriptures to be so predictive. It's the same things that you were talking about with the kind of evidences we use when we can't have absolute truth. Those same principles brought me to understand that the scriptures are in fact God breathed, and He can create a man, and a 40-year-old, whatever, I don't know how old he was. However, he was an adult in zero time. He created he fermented wine in minutes. So the time doesn't matter. Okay.
Right, but why would you think that it's true? Why would you think that these stories are true?
And none of those things are testable or would leave evidence. You're
right,
just
but
going
why
to
would
make
you think that they're true?
Because I have faith and belief in the way the scriptures play out in human affairs.
Like, okay, you keep saying that. It's my understanding, and this, as far as I can tell,
you're looking for a physical why.
I'm not looking for a physical why. I'm just asking for some sort of reason, because as far as I can tell, the Bible defines faith as belief in things unseen, i.e. belief in things without reason.
Yes.
So, is it your position that you don't have a reason to believe in this thing? Or is there a reason? And if there is a reason, I'd love you to be like specific and not just say like, oh, because of the things that I've seen in it. Like, be specific. Let's talk about it.
If we're going to bring reason back into an ontological definition, then there can't be one.
Okay, you don't think that. So you don't think that there's a reason. So you have no reason to believe that the biblical stories are true.
I am professing a faith, and that word means what it means.
Okay, so you're just agreeing then that you don't have a reason to think it's true.
Not a pragmatic or ontological one, no.
I don't think ontological is the appropriate word there. Look, a reason can be some sort of deduction from some prior principles. It could be some sort of inference from observations of the world. It could be some sort of evaluation of possible explanations, and then this is called abduction, by the way, inference to the best explanation. There are a lot of different ways that you can come up to reasons. It doesn't have to be empirics. I'm just asking if you have a reason.
Yeah. Mine would be deducted. It'd be deduced from. Not deducted. It'd be deduced from my experiences in the scriptures and just observing how realistically it portrays world events, how eloquently.
Can you give me specifics?
In a physical world,
Well, you're talking about how realistically it portrays world events. Like, what world events is it realistically portraying?
All right. So, I think. So this would be more a psychological thing, but the prediction, the understanding that throughout all of the books, they have this consistent theme that God is love. And he is physically love, and then we have that we are wonderfully and masterfully made, and then we shall make them man and woman in our image. And we don't look anything alike, but by his image, what he meant was that we ourselves are the corporeal formation of love and only capable of love. And
I just want to check something really quick because I need to clarify.
It's something.
Sorry, one sec. Let me make sure that I'm just going to play something back to make sure that I heard it correctly. Because come on, load.
Was are wonderfully but the prediction masterfully.
Hold on.
So this would be more a psychological. Basically, it worked from be deducted. It'd be deduced from not deducted. It'd be deduced from my experiences in the scriptures and just observing how realistically it portrays world events. How.
Okay, you said how realistically it portrays world events. What world events?
I didn't realize you were playing me back. I thought there was someone talking in the background.
Yeah, that was you. That was you.
Oh, okay. So what's the question?
Okay. One second.
Reduced? Yeah. Mine would be deducted. It'd be deduced from.
This is you.
It'd be deduced from my experiences in the scriptures and just observing how realistically it portrays world events, how eloquent.
Okay, how realistically it portrays real events. Or world events, rather, right?
Realistically, it portrays world events, how...
Okay, what are the world events you're referring to?
Okay, the world events are the fact that we are the corporeal embodiment of one singular emotion of love.
How is that an event?
And-
How is that a world event?
No, it generates all the events. It generates all the. It just the whole description of it is so
Okay,
accurate.
it sounds like you're moving the goalposts.
No, no.
And like, if you look, if you want to say that was probably a misspeak, I shouldn't have said that. That's fine.
Pick a world event, a war. Want to pick a war? Want to pick a nation building?
How about
Pick
like
something.
the Australian bushfires between 2019 and 2020?
Sweet Jesus. I have no factual information about that, but
2.46 billion reptiles were burned alive.
Okay. Well, okay. Okay.
And about 60,000 koalas as well.
Okay. Holy Toledo. Well, so.
Okay, so I picked the world event. Now, how is the Bible talking about that world event in a realistic way?
I didn't say predicting.
I didn't say predicting either. I said talking
about my experiences in the scriptures and just observing how realistically it portrays world events.
How realistically it portrays world events. So I gave you a world event. How is it realistically portraying it?
All right, I have an answer for you. Was that so? Did we determine the cause of that fire?
Yes.
What was it?
Lightning strikes.
Oh, it's just natural.
Yep.
Oh, okay. That one I would have to go to a scripture about. Okay, I would be much better right now. I've had 1 hour of sleep last night.
Why are you cleaning your garage with 1 hour of sleep?
Very slowly.
Fair.
I pulled my bass boat out and it's a mess, but it's just too hot. I'm in Florida, but
hey, that's your own fault.
Okay, I'm going to pick an event that talks about humans because we were given dominion over the world. The natural events that occur, lightning strikes and things like that, it's going to be impossible to tie that back. I don't know if any of those koalas were related to people or whatever like that. So it's so abstract and hypothetical. It's not.
No, this is a real thing that happened.
But the connection, I would have to know some people involved. It's going to relate.
There were people involved. In fact, I think some people died, but. But nobody caused it.
All right. Were there? Let's assume there were firefighters trying to put it out.
Yeah, sure. There were plenty. There were 400 and Okay, so 417 people died from smoke alone. It directly killed 33 people and destroyed over 3,000 buildings.
All right. So describe some of the actions of some of the humans in this. I don't know.
I don't know the stories. I don't know the individual stories.
No. Just any. Were there firefighters involved?
Okay, I imagine, yeah. So the two primary firefighting agencies for New South Wales, Fire and Rescue NSW and NSW Rural Fire Services, formed the bulk of the primary responses to the fires, mobilizing thousands of firefighters and several hundred firefighting vehicles. So yeah, there were thousands of firefighters involved in trying to handle the fires.
So that's enough. Now there are some people that attended that fire. There are some people who didn't want to take a risk. And there's some people that went in bravely, and maybe some firefighters perished in there trying to save koalas and iguanas and crocodiles or whatever. And each one of those was governed by the single emotion of love. And I can demonstrate. You pick any one example on there.
That's just not what you were saying, right?
It's just observing how realistically it portrays world events. How
You said that it realistically portrays world events. The world event is the fire.
No, the world event is the response to the fire. The fire was started by some natural course. Whether we'll never know if God ordained that or for whatever reason. But what He did ordain is He put that in the path of several thousand people that are going to respond to this thing. And the way they responded is what is predicted. That's what the Bible.
Right. So somebody brought this up in the comments. Somebody brought this up in the comments, but this is extra funny. What if at least one of the firefighters was motivated not by love, but by their hatred of fire?
Exactly. See, that's an easy one to explain.
Okay. How is that love?
No. I'm sorry. No, it's not. What is hatred of fire?
Yeah, like maybe someone was like traumatized by like their house burning down when they were a kid, and so they just they became a fireman or a fire person because they like hate fire.
An anti-pyromaniac. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Okay, an anti-pyromaniac. All right, I know if this exists, but
I'm sure there are people who hate fire.
Okay. I have to crush
I'm sure
fire.
there are, right?
Well, you know what? I'm going to give you a lot of points, a lot of perks for this, because most psychologists have had some kind of disorder and some kind of dysfunction. That's their cause. We all are driven by some event, and that kind of speaks to what the Bible does. It puts these things in our face. That may have created firefighters, but anyway, that's too abstract. I don't want to go down that road. Look, the guy all right, let's take this guy. He's an anti-pyromaniac, all right?
Mm-hmm.
And he looks and he loves something, all right? And he's only going to go in there to smother that fire because he loves something.
Because he hates the fire.
No, that's not. Here you go. You can't hate without love. Anger can't exist without love. Anger is
he could love his wife, or he's we say fireman, but like firefighter. They could love their spouse, they could love their dog, and the reason they go out to fight the fire is because they hate it. Has nothing that they would do it whether or not they were married, whether or not they had a dog. They would still fight the fire because they're like, I hate fire.
But ultimately, there is one ultimate thing that every single human being loves, and that becomes their God. Which is the one on the tablets.
I certainly don't. I don't even think it exists.
Oh, okay. You don't think love itself exists?
No, I don't think God exists.
Okay, well that's fine. That's fine. But I'm not defining it by that. I'm just saying the act of love. All right. So let me walk this through. Unfortunately, I loaned my book out because George MacDonald sums it up so great. And it used to be common knowledge everywhere. We've forgotten it all. But anyway, so every single natural emotion of man is derived by love, and you can prove this. This is a testable theorem. If you remove love, that thing will go away. Let's take any act in the world, like the guy goes in and he wants to destroy the fire. He's got a love of something, and the reason that he hates is because it is a threat or a danger, or
he just hates it. The same way that some people hate, like racists hate black people. He just hates fire.
No, but
he's just like bigoted against fire.
That's fear driven.
No, usually it's not.
Are you gonna
like racists are usually not fear driven. I mean, sometimes it is, but not always.
Well, then I don't think we can have a conversation. Then education isn't the cure for racism and bigotry. Overcoming their fear.
Socialization usually is, not education.
Well.
Like if you take a kid and you like put them in a like a young kid and you put them in a school that has like black kids and Asian kids and white kids and whatever people from all over the place, it turns out that they will be less likely to be bigoted when they grow up, even if their parents are.
I know, but so bigotry is grown through time, and we fear things that we don't understand. Can you at least agree to that?
Sometimes.
Okay. Well, I know.
Like I understand heights really well. It doesn't mean I have to not be afraid of heights.
Right, but would you walk a tightrope across the?
No.
Niagara.
No.
But you don't fear it.
Oh, I definitely would be afraid of that. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Even though I understand it perfectly well.
Yes, well, probably the fear comes from understanding it. But okay, so likewise.
Wait a minute, hold on. Are you saying that fear comes from lack of understanding, or fear comes from understanding now?
No, I'm saying hate. I'm saying that fear. Well, fear. Yeah,
fear breeds hate, and hate leads to the dark side.
Yeah,
is that what we're doing? Like, look, it just doesn't. Like, it's obviously not the case that every action is motivated by love. Like, that's just obviously not the case.
No, actually,
and it's like an enormous reach to try to justify that.
No, seriously, I haven't found anybody that can find one example.
Yeah, Hitler.
Unless you denounce the fundamental principles of humanity.
Why did Hitler order the gassing of like so many Jews? Was that
ultimately
love?
he was afraid of anything that wasn't the Aryan race. All right.
Was that love?
Yes. It was love.
Sorry, what now?
It was not love of them. It was love of the wrong thing. It was love of his Aryan race and the purity of the humanity that he wanted.
You can love the Aryan race and still not gas Jews.
Do you know what
these are not mutually incompatible?
Do you not believe that he thought that all these people were a threat to the Aryan race and humanity itself?
Look, I don't know what he thought.
Well, then
I'm not a Hitler mind reader. Well, but like it's pretty evident that like there's I don't know how you're going to say that like Hitler was motivated by love when he ordered the final solution, right? Like that's crazy.
Let me walk this up for you because you reach for something that you don't we don't even agree on what bigotry is. So I'm going to walk this up for you very plainly. All right, a burglar's going to go in and he wants to take some money, right? If he did not love the power he got from money, do you think he would still go into that bank and take the money?
Wait, so greed is considered love?
No, wait a second. If you
wait, is greed considered love now?
Everything. Listen, I promise you're going to say this is love.
Wait, hold on. If greed is love, then why is greed a sin?
I promise you. No, not greed. No.
What if somebody steals because of greed?
Greed is not an emotion. What he wanted.
Avarice is.
Listen. He wanted money, right? He's going to risk his life. He's going to go in there, get a mask, face down people, and he's going to get a lot of money because why? Because he believes that money will give him security, safety, and peace.
By the way, like greed is obviously an emotion.
Okay, well, either way, but you're loving something. If you take his love of money away,
greed is love. In your view,
look. All of it, you can't have any emotion unless you first loved something. You cannot be sad for losing something unless you loved it. You cannot hope for something unless you have faith, unless you love it and have faith that it can happen. You cannot be angry at something.
It just sounds like you're confusing love with want.
No. Well, okay. So now you're going to separate it by degrees.
No. Well, no, I mean, like, love is something specific, right? It's not just like, let's say I want like an Oreo. It doesn't mean I love an Oreo. It doesn't mean I love the feeling that an Oreo gives me. I just like the taste. Obviously not everything is motivated by love. Like this is a crazy claim.
No, actually it's a universal claim. But what has happened is the word dilution, the 5 different versions of love they used to have, we're down to 1, and it makes this conversation extreme. Yeah, loving Oreos, you don't actually love Oreos, by the way.
Okay, so hold on. Can the Bible explain why I eat Oreos?
Let me explain the physiological thing that's going on.
Wait, hold on. Can the Bible explain why I eat Oreos? The world event of me eating an Oreo?
Ultimately, it definitely would. Yes.
Okay. Does it come down to love?
And if I wasn't on such a tight,
does it come down to love?
If I wasn't on 1 hour sleep and on such time schedule and being ridden over on every one of my sentences, you probably would have understood it. But I don't think.
But does it come down to love? Why I eat Oreos?
You love the sensation that it gives you.
I like it. It's fine. It's pleasant.
You love the pharmaceutical reaction that your body has when you get the sugar and the cream.
So we're just using love to describe anything that's like pleasant or desirable?
You seek pleasure. We seek comfort and pleasure. We seek comfort and pleasure.
And it doesn't mean that it doesn't mean that you love those that you love the things that give you those feelings, right?
No, you love the feeling of it, right?
No, you don't even have to love it. You could just like it.
And the action is explained by.
Look, I gotta ask here. We've been at this for almost an hour. Do you think that it was loving when the Amalekites were slaughtered? Was that driven by love?
Love. See. Without qualifying what the object of love. The whole thing revolves around the object of the love. Are you familiar with archery's term of sin? Hitting a target and not hitting a target.
The archery term of sin? What?
Yeah. If you aim at a target and you miss, you've sinned, right?
I don't think that's a particularly good definition of sin.
That is what the actual definition of sin is.
So you would say that when an archer misses, they're sinning?
So it's very simple. You have your love. You're going to direct it at something. Let's say it's the sensation you get from eating Oreos, or let's say it's putting out the sensation that you get from putting out fires. It's the hormones and the
Wait, is sin just any time that you like fail in your goals?
Sin is any time that you fail to hit the true mark. You can aim, for example, the burglar. If he loves money and he puts all his effort into a warrior to find money and rob banks and pickpocket and do all these other things, he has sinned because he has aimed at money, thinking that money is going to give him the pleasures that he needs.
This is too broad of a definition for sin, right? If your goal, like for example, if your goal is to conquer the world, but kind of by accident you accidentally like bring democracy and freedom everywhere, that doesn't mean that you've sinned.
Every time you see the word in any of the scriptures, the word sin is referring to the archery term of not hitting the target. That is what it means when they say.
Is there a Bible verse that says that that's what sin is?
Oh, they've used archer references once or twice, but everyone just knew what that meant. Sin was a common term.
Really, was it?
Well, because their primary weapon, their pew-pews were bows and arrows, and they knew what it meant to miss. They called it sin.
Well, is there a source for this claim?
I'm sure there is. I mean, yeah. I don't think you're going to find an internet source that says that's wrong. I don't think the internet contains anyone saying, no, it doesn't mean missing the target. I don't think that's a thing.
I'm looking for like actually like a biblical source for this.
Just like I said, I don't have a computer in front of me, but ChatGPT or Gemini or whichever, or Claude, whatever you're using there, just say, is it the archery term in the Bible, and where does it say that? And it'll tell you right up.
Yeah, so
I know it's in there.
So the Hebrew word, which is used in the Hebrew Bible, it carries the idea of missing the goal, path, or objective that God has set.
Correct, the target.
The Greek word translates to missing the mark, but that was written after Jesus lived. So like when he was talking, he would have been using like the Hebrew understanding, right?
That's right.
So like the Hebrew understanding specifically has to do with the goal that God set.
Correct. The target is in front of it,
the God's target, not just any target.
Right, but the reason they use the word sin because that's the most easiest metaphor they could use. Everyone who had to use a bow and arrow, which was literally everybody, knew that.
Including David.
Well, he had a spear and a sling. Yeah, I'm sure he knew how to use a bow. I don't know. I'm sure.
All right, lamentable one. I'm gonna let you go.
Yeah.
It seems like we've kind of gotten way off topic, but thanks for being here.
All right, enjoy.
Somebody was keeping track. He said love 47 times. That's a pretty high rate of loves per minute. All right, let's read some super chats, and then we'll bring up our next guest. So from Cherry Bomb Games with the $5, so very confident and yet so very incorrect. It makes me sad. That conversation kind of went all over the place, and it seemed like he kind of backtracked a lot, which was interesting. But also, functioning on 1 hour of sleep is, understandable. From Hollow Z with the $30. Thank you so much, Hollow. I do appreciate it. My favorite channel. I admire how you simplify topics for some guests who struggle to understand, and yet you still maintain your patience. Great channel and wonderful subject matter. I wish I could give more. Well, I appreciate it. You've given plenty. From Game Master Flash with the $5. Fire-hating fireman came to my barbecue this weekend. Used a fire extinguisher on the grill. What a prick. That's funny. Sorry for your grill, though. From Orion Cooper with the $2. I now hear love as the priest from Princess Bride. From Nathan Irvine with the $5. Aztecs practiced human sacrifice out of love for their god. Oh, good point. And the Christian god and the Christian good then thinks it was good. Interesting. From Adrian Narki with the $5. If love leads to the Holocaust, maybe love isn't all it's cracked up to be. Also, if God is love, then by this logic, God was the cause of the Holocaust. Oof. From Mr. Pecha with the $20. Very generous. I appreciate that. Every emotion is hate. I hate being poor, so I steal. I hate not loving my wife, so I married her. I hate not eating Oreos, so I eat Oreos. I hate this color so goddamn... True! From Garbage Gamin with the $5 Canuck bucks. A kid burning ants with a magnifying glass. Love of causing pain. All of Satan's actions, that's love too, baby. True. But Satan wasn't created in an image, so he just doesn't have love. And from Punch's Pilot with the $5. I used to know the meaning of love. Then I took an arrow to the knee. That's called sinning, by the way. All right, let's bring up our next guest. That's funny. That's exceptionally funny. Let's bring up our next guest. We have some guests in the... Oh, I'm supposed to add somebody as mod on TikTok. I need to search. The Frog Girl, if you could please send a message in chat, that would be excellent, because then I could add you as a mod. Please send a message in chat. Oh, wait, the Frog Girl is Lizzie? Is the Frog Girl Lizzie? Okay. All right. Add mod. Okie dokie. Done. Thank you so much. All right, let's bring Dan to Explicit. Dan to Explicit, you are currently on the show. How's it going? Gotta unmute yourself.
Hello, how are you?
Oh, one sec. This is on my end. That's why I can't hear you. All right, go ahead.
Hello.
Howdy,
Can
how's
you
it
hear me?
going? Yeah, I can hear you all right, Dan. Dan, do you think that the Earth was created?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, and to be clear, I can just specify. What I mean by created is that there was an intentional act of formation that happened.
Like natural formation, or like...
No, creation as opposed to natural formation. So I would say that something is not created if it formed naturally.
Got it. Okay.
So using that definition, you would say that the Earth was created?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, why do you think it was created?
I mean, it would be mathematically impossible for this to be just by chance, no?
It's not like it was either created or it's chance. There can be inevitable things that happen naturally.
Right, but anything inevitable is still by chance.
If it's inevitable, it's not chance.
So you think this was going to happen regardless?
I mean, all I'm saying is that those aren't the only two options, right? Like if you have ground that is wet above a cave, and inside the cave there is inside the cave that ground will that wet ground will seep through, and then it will form stalactites, right?
Right.
And that's
But
not
for the
happening by
water-
chance, but it's also not created. It's just inevitable, given the water is above the cave.
Yeah, but I mean, how did the water get there? Isn't that
However it got there.
by chance? Right.
The
that's by
point
chance.
is the creation of the stalactite is not by chance. Now you could say that maybe the way the water got there is by chance, but that's like pushing the buck back further.
But you brought that up, not me.
Well, I'm talking about the formation of the stalactite. The formation of the stalactite was inevitable, given the conditions, right?
In order for it to be formed, did it need the water?
Yeah. And that's what
So how
and
did the
because the
water
water
get
was there,
there?
it made it inevitable.
Right. So how did the water get there?
Irrelevant for the hypothetical.
I mean, it is relevant since we're talking about chance and,
Well, we're talking about the
inevitability.
stalactite formation, right? The stalactite didn't form by chance. The stalactite's formation was inevitable given the conditions.
That's what I just said. We're talking about inability. Fuck, I can't even pronounce it right now. By chance or inability. But look, so I had a question, right? So you're
Sure, go
saying
ahead.
it all had to be because of something that happened prior. So I just have a question, right? Like,
Sure.
you think that it all happened naturally and there is no higher power or anything behind it, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so my question is this, because I'm honestly just wondering what you think about this, because like I've had this conversation with a few people, and I just happened to bump into your channel, and it seems like you are pretty aware and knowledgeable of what you're talking about. So I just want to get your input. Really, I'm not here to like prove you wrong or change your mind. Which you know, it would be
Sure.
nice to see something like that. But I'm not gonna lie. Like a lot of these things are theories. So my question is this: do you believe that everything is moving away from the Earth, or is everything moving in its own direction in space?
Some things are moving closer to the Earth, some things are moving away from the Earth.
Right, but are they moving? That means that they're moving like closer and further. But are they moving left or right at all, or they're just moving away from the Earth?
I don't know what you mean by left or right. Like,
So,
things are
like,
moving
you know,
in accordance with the, things are moving because they obey certain laws of like the law of gravity, for example, the universal law of gravitation. Basically governs the
understand.
motion of stuff, and things will move in various directions as a consequence.
I understand. Okay, so I guess I'm not trying to put you into a trap here. It's just to understand, like, the grounds of where I'm going, just to see if like we agree with the basic grounds, right? So it's like
That'd be great.
not everything is moving in a straight line into space, right? Everything is kind of like
Things are moving in different directions.
Right. Okay, so we agree on that.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is where I come up with this question. It's how come every time we look at the sky, the stars are like every night at the same time of the same day of the same year, the stars are going to be exactly where they were last year. And if
I don't know, because it's not true. And I can show you, in fact, a yearly time lapse of stars being in different places.
Okay, but so like how like we look at the sky and the constellations, they're like the constellations don't really shift much.
They do. They just change very slowly.
Okay. And
but just as a counterexample to the claim that same time, same year, same day means that that's true for every star, it's just not true. And I can give you an example. Here's a time lapse, the same time, same day, same year.
It's also a binary.
This is 61 Cygni. It's a binary star system, but look how it's moving over the course of a year, or over the course of many years. Actually, this is over the course of 9 years, if I remember correctly. See how those two stars are moving relative to the other two stars, or relative to the background stars?
Okay. Yes.
So clearly the stars do move year over year.
So basically what you're saying, in like 1,000 years, the sky is going to look different than it does today.
A little bit, yeah. In fact, the North Star wasn't the North Star 3,500 years ago.
Oh, okay. So the sky is generally moving all the time.
It's just slow, yeah.
Interesting. And how come, so are these stars, moving, since I guess it has to do with distance, right? Since it's really far away, even though they're moving at an incredible high amount of speed, it looks like it's moving very slowly. Is that the case?
Yeah, and for the most part, the stars that we see the stars that we can see in the sky with our eyeballs, those stars are very, very close, cosmically speaking. So even though our sun is moving, our sun is a star, and the stars nearby are basically kind of all flowing in the same direction. So the relative motion is fairly small for the nearby stars. They're just not moving very fast relative to each other, because they're kind of all moving together.
Okay. So this was the basis of my question, I guess. I'll just lay it all out, since we pretty much covered all the ground. I was gonna say that I found it interesting that in all of this time that most of the stars pretty much stayed in the same place, yet science claims that everything it's moving in its own direction at whatever speeds they are moving, because they're moving at different speeds, but they're moving at thousands of miles an hour, a minute, a second, depending on where they are, what it is. And in my opinion, I just found that very questionable, since we look at the sky and everything seems to be where it's always been. So it just made me question that, because it just made no sense to me.
A simple Google search probably would have helped there, but that's fair. It is true that on a human timescale, with the stars that we can see in the places that we live, the stars don't seem to change much over the course of our lifetime. But humans are really, really bad at noticing things that are very, very slow. And these things are very, very slow. They do change. But for example, you can go look at almanacs from like 150 years ago, and you can go look at how the positions of the stars are in different places, because almanacs will give you very detailed accountings of the exact locations of where a star is. And then you can go check on the same day, same night, that kind of thing. Or same day, whatever. And it'll be in a different place, like slightly different.
So following this logic, do you believe like in the constellations, like in like the Gemini, Taurus, Cancer, all that? Like, is that basically like nonsense?
I mean, those constellations, they've changed a little bit, but not so much that they're unrecognizable. Again, the stars do change, but slowly. So, and those constellations, as we know them, that's like Greek and Roman and like Indian and like that's only like a few thousand years old, those ideas.
Okay. Well, you know what? I really could have just Googled this, I guess, but it's very interesting the way you put it, and I'm glad you explained it the way you did, because every time I seem to ask someone, they also ended up questioning just as me. They were like, that is very true. How is everything moving some things are moving close to light speed and some things are just moving thousands of miles an hour, a minute, or a second. Yet we look up at the sky and they look like to be in the same place. It led me to believe like the idea where in the Bible it says we are the center of the universe and everything is moving away from us, because that would explain that, in my opinion. You know, I was like, it has to be moving directly away from us for it not to shift.
But it turns out that things are moving side to side and are relative to our view. So Dan, I'm going to let you go, but thank you for being here. And good luck, okay? All right, making sure I don't have any super chats. Gotta change the volume again. Let's bring up Bruno Muij.
Yes, hello.
Bruno, how's it going?
Hello, I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing all right. Bruno, do you believe that the Earth was created?
No, not exactly. But I would just like to say to you that I appreciate what you're doing, and I am really supportive of your commitment.
I appreciate that, but I gotta let you go because that's not what we're here for. All right, let's bring up IDK. IDK, how's it going?
Hello? Good, how are you?
I'm doing all right. IDK, how old do you think the Earth is?
Well, since I'm a Christian, I would say a few thousand years, maybe 10,000 years.
Okay. Why do you think that?
Because it fits more with the ideology of neo-libertarian phalangism.
IDK, why you do this to me? All right, let's bring up 22 Ezekiel. Ezekiel, how's it going?
I'm fine. By the way, my first language is Spanish.
Okay, that's okay.
So for the accent. Okay.
So, Ezekiel, how old do you believe the Earth is?
Even though I'm a Christian, I don't care about the age of the Earth.
You don't care about it? Okay, do you think that the Earth was created intentionally?
Oh, yeah. About that, can you tell me again the definition of naturally? Like, for example, if a human puts a rock in a mountain, could we say that it was a natural act?
So I'm distinguishing natural from intentional. So if somebody, something, did something with intent, I would say that that's distinct from something happening with no intent involved at all.
Okay. So, okay, when it comes to the planets, do you think that it was intentional that only here there's life?
No, I don't think it's intentional. But can you answer my question? Do you think that the Earth was created intentionally?
Well, yes.
Okay, why do you think so?
Apart from what I told you about the planets, that this one apparently is the only one that has life.
Well, I don't know if that's true.
Also, me neither.
So then why would you use that as an argument?
Because for me it's a very relative positive argument, but I have another types of arguments.
Okay.
Okay, like for example, the balance for life to be sustained is so delicate. Like
on Earth,
I forget. Yeah, for example, I forget the word, but it was like every living thing needs to maintain their balance, their internal balance.
Okay.
Forget the word.
You're looking for homeostasis.
Yeah, homeostasis. Okay. So that's so delicate that I don't think that it was unintentional. Like, can you?
So homeostasis. Look, humans can exist humans live in Antarctica. Well, not full time, but like we can live in Antarctica and we can live in, Saudi Arabia, and that's like 200-degree difference, right?
Okay, but
so
I believe in miracles. So that explanation doesn't, because I believe in Jesus, so I believe in miracles. So that explanation.
All I'm saying is that like it's not so delicate.
I know.
So then, if it's not delicate, then that seems to kind of counteract your argument.
Okay, but when it comes to plants, certain things that allow us to live is very delicate. For example, I don't know if you have tried to plant, to subtract a plant from the soil and plant it somewhere else. If you don't do it right, it will dry up. So if plants are that delicate, then
so plants aren't that delicate. There are plants there are plants that are so undelicate that we have a hard time killing them. They're called weeds.
Okay, I know, but for example, humans without their fathers will die immediately in nature.
Humans without their fathers will die immediately?
With someone to
apparently I'm dead. Because I haven't had a father in 21 years.
No, okay.
And I guess I'm
that's
dead.
Not what I meant to say. Someone who cares for them while they grow.
Oh.
You know.
Well, yeah, human children, especially human infants, are reliant on their parents. Sure.
The same way almost any type of baby.
Well, that's not true. Most animals, actually, I don't want to say most. I don't actually know the proportion, but many animals, they just give birth and then the baby animal is on its own. That's pretty common.
But in the Bible, Jesus says also that God is feeding the animals. So you may think that is just nature, that God is feeding the animals. Like for example, the birds.
Right. Okay. So they don't need their parents.
Some don't need their parents and some do.
Okay, so you understand how that's not an argument then?
Yeah, the same way I'm trying to tell you that according to my faith, what you're saying about the animals don't need someone to feed them is not also a good argument.
Well, wait a minute. Does God actually feed them, or in your view, did God just put the plants on the earth and then the animals have to go find the plants?
Well, the Bible doesn't specify. Jesus just say that.
Well, I'm just asking you to use your noodle. Look, does God hand feed all the freaking baby turtles in the ocean?
It doesn't specify.
No, I'm asking you to use your brain, right? Does God hand feed them?
No, he probably just create the circle of life and then the circle maintains itself.
The baby turtles, they have to go find their own food on their own.
Probably yes.
So it's if my parent just left food, if my parents when I was a kid just left food somewhere and then expected me to find it myself, that would not be an example of them caring for me.
Maybe, not sure.
Definitely not. That would be an example of neglect. Let's say that there was food in the refrigerator, but my parents never fed me. If I was 1 year old and my parents never fed me, but they just had food in the refrigerator, or they just left food on the ground, that would be neglect. That would not be them feeding me.
But those animals that don't need their father to feed them, those animals also have the capacity to go ahead and look for the food.
Right, but that would be an example of their father not feeding them, right?
But
that wouldn't be an example of their father feeding them.
But he gives the capacity. At least. Like,
He gave the capacity? Or did they evolve the
at least,
capacity?
according to my faith, it was given.
Okay, but according to the scientific method that we use to establish the veracity of evolution, it's not that answer.
Okay, if you want to believe in evolution, then you can believe in that.
I mean, like, it's one of those things where, like, evolution just has, like, an extraordinary amount of evidence for it. Why would we not believe it?
Well, okay. Well, also Jesus said that also this thing that I'm saying is because Jesus said that He is the truth, and for me the truth doesn't change, never. Just,
Seems like we kind of just pivoted there. Just kind of changed topics.
no, I know it looks like I changed topic, but I didn't. What I'm saying is that Jesus said something about that relates to what I'm saying, to what we were talking about evolution. Okay, and is that trees, you will know the tree by the fruits. And true, as I told you, it doesn't change.
What if the tree doesn't have fruits?
Okay, I know there's male trees. Okay, well, that's out of the topic for now. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. You will know the tree by their fruits.
Why should I believe that this being even exists?
You don't have to. Just the same way you don't have to believe Socrates existed.
The same way I don't have to what?
To believe that Socrates or Plato existed.
Well, look, we have evidence that they existed, and similarly, I think that we have evidence that Jesus existed. But that's not the same as saying that there's evidence that God exists.
Oh yeah, and that I agree with you.
So why should I believe? Why look? It seems like the things that we're talking about, like the formation of the Earth or the evolution of animals, of the evolution resulting in the diversity of life on Earth. It seems like these things can be pretty well accounted for using scientific evidence, and it seems like the only way that you can get to a divine accounting is by rejecting evidence and instead just blindly believing something that a person wrote down 2,000 years ago.
Okay, but how do you know they aren't fabricating evidence?
How do I know who's not fabricating evidence?
That there is evidence that they have fabricated evidence also.
Who's they?
Not all of them, but some.
Who?
There was a false study of moths that they.
A false study of moths.
Yeah, that they published to
What are you talking about?
Something that happened some years back, like in the 900s. I'm not sure how to say the years, whatever. Okay, but apart from the moths, you can look it up in Google later.
Okay, I'll look it up right now. What's it called? False evidence moth study.
Evolution. False evidence for evolution in moths.
Okay, hold on. I'll look. False evidence for evolution in moths. Okay. When critics... Okay, so I'm just going to read the AI overview because it'll hopefully give me some context here. When critics claim evidence for evolution in moths is false, they're usually referring to intense historical controversy surrounding the peppered moth. While the foundational science is sound, the specific way the story was initially packaged and presented has drawn significant criticism. Does that sound right? It's about the peppered moth business?
Yeah. I believe so. I'm not sure what type of moth.
So fortunately, we don't even have to use peppered moths in order to prove that evolution is real. So
there was another case they put the...
So how about this? If I give you, who do you think will win? If we have a contest, for every time that you mention a case of false evidence, I mention a case of non-false evidence. Who do you think is going to win with more cases that they can cite?
The problem is that when they mention the cases of not false evidence, they are really mentioning the case of isolation or inbreeding, and that also goes...
Isolation or what?
Isolation, and I'm not sure if that's the pronunciation, isolation or inbreeding. That in those
isolation
cases...
or inbreeding, I see. Go ahead.
well, in those cases, that doesn't have to go against what the creation, against the creation.
What does isolation and inbreeding have to do with the evidence that I would present?
That I believe that is the only kind of valid evidence for evolution.
So
they change.
Okay, well, I have something that I can teach you today. I love teaching. So back in the late 90s, or in the, really it was the late 80s, early 90s, there was a thought that if evolution is true, you have a hypothesis that evolution is true, then you would expect to see some sort of kind of half fish, half land animal in the fossil record. This was an expectation. This was a prediction of evolution, of evolution by natural selection. And then, furthermore, not only would you predict that it would exist in the fossil record, you would predict what layer in the fossil record it would be found, and where in the world that layer with that fish animal would be found in the fossil record. This was a prediction made by the theory of evolution by natural selection. And then in 1999, I want to say, they found it in the place that the model predicted. That would be an example of evidence of evolution.
Okay, how do you know it was, okay, but how do you know it wasn't because of the mud flood that the Bible tells us about?
Look, the way that we do science is that you have a model, you use that model to make a prediction, and then you check if that prediction came true. If the prediction comes true, that's evidence for the model.
Where are you taking?
You can say like, oh, but what if there's another explanation? Like, that's fine, but it's still evidence for the hypothesis.
Okay, yeah, that's right. I can argue that. I cannot argue that.
So like, and that doesn't have anything to do with inbreeding or isolation.
Okay, that's right. But in the same way, as you mentioned, that there could be other causes for that. Like I told you, with the Noah's flood, that could have
Noah's flood didn't happen.
Okay, well, maybe another type of flood. Science recognized that there will be there were some floods.
I mean, there are floods like all the time. There was never a global flood, though.
The science doesn't talk about a global flood.
Yeah, there's not enough water on Earth for there to be a global flood.
Okay, not a complete global flood, but in most of the parts of the Earth.
I've heard no evidence for such a thing.
But I'm not sure, but I did hear it, or...
Yeah, lots of people say lots of things. That doesn't mean that there's evidence for them.
Okay.
I mean, like, what's certainly not the case is that there was no global flood or even a large local flood in the last 5,000 years in the Middle East. No such thing happened.
Okay, but could you search it up to see?
What do you want me to search?
Science says that there was a global flood or not.
Okay.
Something like that.
Here, we'll do this live. I haven't Googled this before. We'll do this live. Maybe you'll be right.
Me neither. I haven't Googled it before also.
Okay, so we're just going to Google, does science say if there was a global flood? Science confirms that a simultaneous worldwide flood covering all mountains did not occur. The geological, biological, and archaeological records demonstrate that the Earth has never been completely submerged in water all at once within human history. And then this is of course Google AI, but we could go look at the sources if you want. But I did the thing, and it says that it confirms that it never happened. So.
Well, it say completely. I don't think that the flood covered complete
So do you think that the Bible lied?
I'm not sure if the Bible says completely every mountain.
It does. It covered the highest mountains.
Okay. Well, then science isn't, or at least the record of science it's not according with the Bible.
Yeah, exactly. Which means that the Bible's wrong.
I don't believe the Bible is wrong. That's just a belief.
Look, so if you think the flood happened, if you think that there was a flood, like a large flood near the Middle East, anytime in the last 5,000 years, that's not true. Like, we can prove that's not true pretty easily.
Not in the Middle East. It wasn't. It could happen in Florida.
Right. But Noah's flood would have been in the Middle East area, right? If it happened, it would have been in the Middle. Okay, so where was Noah from?
Apparently, he was from America because they would
Noah was from, like, the story of Noah comes from Mesopotamia.
Yeah, but the wood he used is only found in America, so apparently people are saying that.
His what? What?
He was from America. the wood he used, the timber he used for the ark.
What timber?
Gopher wood, something like that. It's called.
Where does it say that in the Bible?
When God told him the instructions.
Okay, let's go. So it's what, Genesis 6, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we're gonna look this up because I've never heard this claim before. This sounds crazy. Let's read it together. So this is Genesis 6. So when humans began to increase in number, blah 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 blah. The Lord. Okay, so this is the account of Noah and his family. Noah was a righteous man. Noah had those 3 sons. Okay, now the earth was corrupt, and God said to Noah, "I'm going to put an end to all the people, for the earth is filled with violence because blah 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 blah. Make yourself an ark of cypress wood." Is that the one that you're referring to? Cypress wood?
Well, I thought I'm not sure why, but
there's a little footnote here. The meaning of the Hebrew for this word is uncertain. So apparently, it's actually not even clear what wood it is. So how could you say that it's the kind of wood that can only be found in North America?
Not sure why, but there's many people that say that it was gopher. Can you look it up? Gopher. Maybe in the Enoch account it says gopher. I'm not sure if in another type of manuscript.
Oh, you mean gopher? Gopher wood. Okay, gopher wood. Let's look it up. So gopher wood is the specific mysterious material God commanded Noah to use for building the ark to survive the Great Flood. Because the term appears nowhere else in ancient Hebrew, scholars and translators generally interpret it as highly durable, resinous wood like cypress, cedar, and pine. I don't see anything about gopher wood being found in the United States.
In Florida, can you search it up?
Gopher wood, Florida. Yeah. So there is this plant, which isn't wood, by the way.
By the way, I'm not seeing the screen because it's okay. Yeah. Oh, now I'm seeing. Okay.
So this is something known as gopher wood, but this is not. It's not a tree. And to be clear, do you think that gopher wood was named as such before or after the white people came to Florida?
Okay, I'm not sure about that thing. It's also irrelevant. I just think that's what I have here from videos. Yeah, I haven't even.
So I'm actually curious. It might say something about where the name gopher came from. Doesn't say anything about where the name gopher wood comes from. Where does the name gopher wood come from for Torreya taxifolia? Oh, okay. You know why it's called gopher wood? Apparently, it's called that. It originated in the 1950s from a local Florida lawyer and preacher, and he called it that because he thought that the original Garden of Eden was located in the Apalachicola River Basin in the Florida Panhandle.
Okay.
So this has nothing to do, like, the plant was named after the Bible, not the other way around.
Okay. Good to know. Okay. So, but that's irrelevant to the first topic that we were talking about. Anyway.
Look, it's probably about time that we call it. I don't know if we're making a whole lot of progress, so I'm going to let you go. But thank you for being here, Ezekiel.
Thank you.
I need to hydrate. Hydrate or dihydrate. And then we'll read some super chats. Also, it's not gopher. It's not gopher like the animal gopher. It's the Hebrew word is gopher. Like it's just a word in Hebrew, and it doesn't refer to gophers, right? Thank you guys so much for all the gifts, by the way. From Binary Ghosts with the $5, local atheist ghost still refuses to believe in God. True. Wait, am I a ghost? Why am I a ghost? From It's a Rubik's with the $2, here's NASA hush money from an actual NASA shill. Well, look, if you're an actual NASA shill, then I don't know, man. I don't know if I can take your money. No, but I appreciate it. From Binary Ghosts with the $5 again, God created the processes that cause evolution. Checkmate, atheists. By the way, an interesting thing in most creation stories is that humans are usually last. That's a good point. Humans are usually last. Why that is? Maybe it's because we're viewed as like supreme, so we'd be the most complicated. I should start dabbing whenever I'm about to sneeze. That'd be funny. That'd be a funny bit to do. From Binary Ghosts again with the $5, moths did not evolve. They were created by Mothman. He has been around for thousands of years just making moths. He really hates bridges. Ah, good point. It checks out. And from Nathan Irvine with the $5, God flooded the world to kill people who were made out of his love. True. Absolutely true. All right, let's bring up Metatron 7. Metatron 7, how's it going?
Hey Blitz, I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing all right. Have we spoken before?
We did speak before. It was over a year probably.
Okay. Did we talk about this topic?
We did talk a little bit about creation.
Okay. Well, I mean, like, look, I don't remember the conversation. I just kind of vaguely remember your name. So, how old do you think the Earth is?
Well, I think according to the evolutionary model, it's going to be 13.8 billion years. Is that right?
No, that's the universe. I'm asking how old the Earth is.
Oh, the Earth. Okay. Well, I'm up of the opinion that when you look at the biblical account, it's starting at a place where the Earth was. It says the Earth was formless and void.
Mm-hmm.
So
I'm asking how long ago was the Earth formed?
So what was here, as far as the Earth, could have been millions of years.
Well, I'm asking when was the Earth formed? Like how long ago was the Earth formed? Because if it was formless, then it wasn't formed.
Well, I'm saying like there was rock and there was water.
Right, but
right?
I'm asking how long ago was it that the Earth formed?
It could have been millions of years. I don't have an exact date, but you could look at millions of years, and that still fits with the biblical story of.
Does it?
Yeah, because creation is like reforming what was already here.
Well, it said it was formless, right? So if it was formless, then it wasn't already formed.
Formless means just rock and water.
I just gotta double check something. Just one sec. Bear with me. Definition of formless. Merriam-Webster. Having no regular form or shape, lacking order or arrangement, having no physical existence. I mean, we can pick and choose which definition we want, but if I'm asking when the Earth formed, then something having no regular form or shape would not meet the definition of formed.
Okay, well, I'll pick number 2, lacking order or arrangement.
Okay, so then that would mean that something with form has order and arrangement, right?
I'm not quite sure what you're getting at, but when
What I'm getting
the
at
Earth
is
is
that
formless,
if the Earth is formless, then that means it has not been formed yet.
no, it just means it doesn't have the.
Okay, do you know what the
trees and
suffix less means?
I think you're getting hung up on one word here, buddy.
I'm just asking. Look, okay, so here's what I want. This is a suffix. The suffix is less. So it means lacking something, without something. Added usually to a noun to form an adjective signifying a lack of that noun. So if something is artless, it means without art. If something is tireless, it means without being tired or without getting tired. So if something is formless, it means without form. So if I'm asking, when was it that it got form, i.e. when was it formed? That seems like
Yeah,
it couldn't
been,
be
it could have been
compatible.
millions of years ago that the Earth.
It can't have
recently just
already
formed.
been formed and then also be formless.
Formless in respect to what we see now, in terms of trees, in terms of animals, in terms of all life that is upon the earth. That's what we can say is what is formed. But
when
if
you
you're talking about what was it before, it's rock and water, is what the Bible says.
Well, it says it was empty, right?
No, it says that the Spirit of God was hovering over the face of the deep, the ocean.
Well, no, the earth was formless and empty, is the point, right?
Yeah, it didn't have its form. It didn't have its shape. It didn't have its trees. It didn't have its.
Yeah, it was formless and empty. So
you know?
it didn't have a form, and it was empty. So, like, I'm asking when the earth got its form. I don't know what's hard about this. Like, this is a pretty straightforward.
It could have been millions of years.
Okay, so in your view, the earth was formless for millions of years? Do you mean billions of years, perhaps?
It could have been billions.
Okay, so you think that like the earth was just like a glob of rocks and water for 4.5 billion years, and then
yeah, and then God showed up,
and then God showed up and put everything in its place. How long ago?
That's where you can look at the genealogies and calculate maybe about 10,000 years, 15,000 years, 20,000 years, something like that. You know, looking at human records.
I haven't seen any genealogies that do that. Usually it's somewhere between 6,000 and 7,000 years, but.
Well, you have to count before Genesis 6, before the flood, people were living thousands of years. So the genealogy,
we have the genealogy for them. But look, okay, so suppose that it's 10,000 years or whatever, 15,000 years. Why is it that, you know, we have the ages of things that are quite a bit older than that?
What are you referring to?
Cave paintings that are 40,000 years old.
Oh, cave paintings that are 40,000 years old?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm not quite sure. I don't know how you date a cave painting, but
the same way you date a lot of things. Usually you use comparative dating with something else that you know the age of. Or you use, so in the case of cave paintings, I suspect, and I could Google this, but I suspect what they did is they used, they found other things in the cave that the cave paintings were found on, like other human-made things, like, you know, tools. And then they dated those because those are easy to date. Like if you have bones, for example, you can do carbon dating on those bones.
Well, I do think that there was probably a civilization on the earth before you start with Genesis that got wiped
Genesis
out,
1?
and therefore the floods.
Wait, before Genesis 1?
Yeah.
But the earth was formless and empty. There can't be a civilization on a formless and empty planet, can there?
I think that there was some sort of an apocalyptic end of world scenario where either it was like, you know how the Ice Age, everybody died?
Everybody died on the Ice
Age?
Not everybody died in the Ice Age. In fact, humans lived in an Ice Age for thousands of years.
Okay, well, you have records where most of the Earth was destroyed.
What records do we have of this? Are you talking about like mass extinction events?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. There's a few large ones. One of them was when the dinosaurs were wiped out. Another was starts with the D. Is it the Denovian? We can find out together. So there's the end Ordovician extinction, there was the late Devonian period, there was the end Permian, there was the end Triassic, and the Cretaceous Paleogene. So those are 5 mass extinctions that have happened. So which one is the one that had the civilization?
Yeah, I'm not sure which one had the civilization, but I think that there could have been some sort of created beings on the planet before you start with a Genesis account.
Well,
and that could account
but Genesis says that it was empty. So how could there have been created things if it was empty? Or like, how does that work?
Well, it's easy. Genesis starts where God shows up to the earth. At that point, what was it? It was formless and void. It didn't have its life on it.
So God's not like the creator of everything?
Yeah, the creation story starts at the beginning of all time, but you're talking
Wait,
about
where does hold
Earth
on?
and
The
its-
creation story starts at the beginning of all time. So this is the beginning of the book, right? This is like the very first line of the book. Is this the beginning of time?
You could put a gap between verse 1 and verse 2 of insert however many years you want it to be. If you want it to be billions of years, God
why
created
does
the
it say
heavens and the
now?
earth is just the
Also, by the way, if you want like actually a good translation, like using the like properly understanding the first word in Hebrew, it's probably not best translated as in the beginning. It's probably best translated as when God began. Right? This is likely a better translation. To be clear, in the text, the verses aren't there. The verses aren't separate ideas. Like, we can just go look at the actual Hebrew text if you want, and you're not going to find punctuation.
Right, I know Hebrew.
So it's not, you know Hebrew?
Yeah.
Okay, so then like, how are you distinguishing between verse 1 and verse 2?
I'm saying verse 1 and verse 2 because that's how it's written for us right now.
Right, but why would how would you infer that there's a gap in time between, like, in this sentence that doesn't have any punctuation?
It's just the way that you would put anything together by sentence structure, by statement.
Where in the
It's
sentence
saying
structure does it infer
God
that
began
there's a
to
large
create the
gap of
heavens and the
time?
earth, period.
That's a comma, by the
then
way.
that's
That's a
the end
comma.
of one concept.
That's a comma.
Okay.
I know it's small, but
You're asking how is the punctuation getting there?
well, what I'm asking is how are you inferring that it is reasonable to interpret that there's a gap between the creation of the heavens and the earth and then the earth being in complete chaos? And by the way, again, with the preferred translation, the NRSVU, this first verse is a clause. It's not even a complete idea. It's when God began to create the heavens and the earth was complete chaos and darkness covered the face of the deep while a wind from God swept over the face of the waters. Namely, this is telling you this is how the earth was when God began to create it.
Yeah, I understand.
Like,
what
that
you're
was
saying.
the first step of creation. This is not saying first God created the heavens and the earth, and then sometime later, the heavens and the earth were already created, and then the earth was this way, right?
It's called the gap theory. You can look it up. It's not something that I'm making up here on the spot.
I understand that. It just seems unsubstantiated.
Okay, you can think that.
Well, is there a way that you could substantiate it?
Yeah, because it's two concepts. God created the heavens and the earth, period. And then starts the story of, and when it was formless and void, he came and showed up, and the Holy Spirit started doing its work.
Well, but that's not what it says. Right? There's no period.
Okay, you picked up a translation that has a comma where all the other ones have
there's
periods,
no
and you're
period.
saying
There's no
it's-
period in the original text. Ancient Hebrew didn't have periods.
I know that.
So then how are you getting that, oh, there's a period there?
Because
like, how do you come to that conclusion?
This is actually kind of funny. This is funny to me.
I imagine it is.
Yeah, because it's the end of a thought process.
It's not,
in the beginning.
How are you coming to that conclusion?
Okay, you can look up gap theory and read all you want about it.
Okay, so I'm asking you to substantiate it. Like, I mean, if you're telling me to just go do my own research, I'm just going to be like, okay, like it's not particularly an informative conversation.
Yeah, I'm not saying more about it because I'm telling you where you can go look it up yourself and read more about it.
Okay, so we're not going to okay. So like, by the way, I just found something that's kind of fun and nifty. I just want to pull something up so we can compare. Where is it? Where did I put it? Right here.
But it's interesting that you're holding it so close.
Here, let me
to
show you
this.
something. So this
you're focusing so much on this particular.
This is from the Dead Sea
verse
Scrolls, right? This is from the Dead Sea Scrolls. This is our oldest copy of the Hebrew Bible, or of Genesis 1, as far as I can tell. And you can look at this word here. This is the word Elohim. You look at it right there. It's the third word of Genesis 1. You can see it right here. It's Elohim. The next word is Et. Now here, and this is Machon Mamre, this is like a modern, kind of a modern rendering. It has vowels, it has grammar, but it just says Elohim et Hashemayim, right?
Bara Elohim et Hashemayim ve'et haaretz.
Now look, it says that here too, right? You can just read it, like it's actually like it's legible Hebrew. But the point is that there's no grammar. There's no not grammar. There's no periods. There's no commas. There's no vowels for that matter. So I don't know how you're going to take a look at this. Take a look at this first sentence and be like, aha, well, this is a separate idea from this second one. Punctuation. Thank you. I don't know why the word slipped my mind. Like it seems like that you have to
punctuation
justify
came
that
after,
somehow.
just like what you read right there. It showed all the vowel pointing.
Yep.
And even in the vowel pointing, they share where you break off a section of thought versus the next one.
Yeah, no, I understand. My point is this like you can't rely on, oh well, one translation puts a period there, so it's a separate thought, because that's not part of the original text.
Yeah, I can't say anything to this anymore. It's just kind of ridiculous.
I agree. So,
why don't you talk about science or something like that?
Okay. Is there any evidence that there was an ancient civilization before, say 10,000 years ago?
It's a theory.
Well, I was asking for, is there any evidence?
Well, you could look at the Great Pyramids, for example.
Yep.
Some of the most recent data from their ground penetrating radar showed that there's these humongous cylinders that the pyramids are sitting on top of.
Do you think
there's no way on Earth
has that been peer reviewed? Is that like
I don't know if it's been peer reviewed.
The answer is no, it hasn't.
Yeah, that doesn't mean it's not true.
Well, it's certainly not something you should rely on as evidence.
No,
especially because we do have the handwritten text of one of the people who helped build the pyramids. His name is Merer. He was a foreman, if you will. He wrote a diary, and we found it like 10 years ago, which is really cool, by the way. Yeah, let me pull it up really quick. It has a nice Wikipedia page, so check it out if you're interested. But for everybody who's watching, but the point is it was written about 4,500 years ago. It was by a guy named Merer, and he talks about how he was bringing blocks from the quarry. His job was to bring blocks from the quarry to the pyramids to be built. So like we know when the pyramids were built. It was around the Great Pyramids were built around 4,500 years ago. Because we know when he wrote this thing, and we know that he was involved with building the pyramids. So, I mean, like the pyramids are not really, the age of the pyramids are not really in question.
Well, the evidence that they showed from their studies is explaining something quite different than that.
Sorry, so what's the evidence that they showed? That they showed that indicates that it's quite a bit older?
The actual radar scans of what's underneath the pyramids. And it points towards a much more intelligent civilization building them, whether from off planet or on planet. It was not.
Hold on, I just want to make sure I pull up the thing, because I remember hearing about this. Let me see. Actually, I may have even made a video about it, because it was like last year or something when this was announced by an Italian team, right?
Yeah, Filippo Biondi.
Yeah, one second. Let me just see if I can pull up the thing that I'm referring to. I want something better than a Facebook page. That's that's a Facebook post. I know that there is a good... I know that there was a press release by the team, but I want to see if I can find it again. It's been a while. So by the way, this is, and I can just show you the image that I'm looking at. This is the image that's usually cited as evidence. This is the evidence that you're referring to, right?
Yeah.
Now, I don't know where this actually comes from. As far as I can tell, it's not in any peer-reviewed sources. And this, to me, I don't know about you, man, I don't know about the audience, this doesn't scream ancient civilization built the pyramids. So...
I don't know how you can look at that and think anything differently, because it's sitting on cylinders that go hundreds
how do you know
of
that those are
meters into the
cylinders?
ground. Well, look at the picture.
How do you know what they are?
We can infer based on the shape of them that they're cylinder shaped.
You can infer that there are density differences that are perhaps linear. If this is even representative of their actual data. But like, it's not clear that this is actually even true.
No, it looks pretty clear.
Hold on.
If you look
Wait,
at their...
it's clear that it's true even though it hasn't even been peer reviewed yet?
Yeah. Things can be
How
true
is it-
without being peer reviewed
They
yet.
can be, but you probably don't have good reason to accept incredible claims, especially before peer review. Apparently,
Well,
by the way,
I'm not of
apparently
the
this has
opinion
been
that
heavily
I'm not of the opinion that we have to wait
criticized.
for something to be peer reviewed before we can actually believe it.
Well, you should be skeptical of things that are enormous and world-changing if they haven't even been examined by their peers, like the other experts.
Last thing I heard was that they were going to set up other teams to use the same technology to see if they could duplicate it.
So,
but they
to be clear-
duplicated the same thing based on other things that were underground.
Apparently,
that are already known.
this is very controversial. So to say that it's like accepted science is a little bit is a little bit crazy.
Well, look at it. It quotes Dr. Zahi Hawass right there.
Yep.
That guy's the biggest joke when it comes to Egyptology. He's like anything that points at anything related to.
Okay, what about researcher Armando May? What about Dr. James Kennett? What about Biondi is the person who was involved? Like, this is apparently apparently controversial, right?
Yeah.
So like, why?
But that doesn't mean it's not true.
So it's certainly not settled science. Can we agree on that?
I would say it's pretty settled based on.
How is it settled science if it's controversial?
Well, it's settled in my mind.
Okay, so you just like believe vibes? Here's another one, by the way. Another story on the same thing. Not all experts are convinced. Radar expert Professor Lawrence Conyers from the University of Denver called the claims a huge exaggeration, stating that the technology used, radar pulses from a satellite similar to how sonar radar is used to map the ocean, couldn't penetrate that deep into the Earth. So, why should we believe this?
Look at the pictures.
This is a picture. We don't even know where this data came from. This isn't peer reviewed. There's no data associated with this.
That is the data. The picture is the data.
No,
buddy.
we have the picture is not the no. These things don't make pictures. They make numbers, and then they take the numbers and they convert it into a picture. We don't even know where this data, where this picture came from. This was just something that was released at a press conference. The paper hasn't been peer reviewed.
Again, I don't need it to be peer reviewed for me to believe it.
But you don't even know where that data comes from. Are you just believing what the press person says? Just whatever they say, it must be true?
No, it wasn't the press person. It was the scientist that did the studies.
No, but that's where that image came from. That image came from a press release.
No, they released their papers and they had a press
it hasn't
release
been released. It hasn't been released.
Yes, they're published papers. You can look
No,
them
they're
up.
not. They're not published.
Yes, they are.
Where?
I don't know the exact.
They're not
the exact source, but you can find them online. They're published. I I have a video on my TikTok where I did a
Wait,
video.
do you
examining
think
one of
that if something is online, therefore it's published?
No, silly. Of course not.
Okay, so where is it published? What journal is it in?
I don't know the name of it off the top of my head. I'm sorry, but you can find it.
I'm looking. I can't find it.
Oh, look more. You'll find it if you look correctly.
I'm just looking wrong. So I'm looking for Biondi and May pyramid column study. Yeah, we'll just show you what I'm looking at. Biondi May pyramid column study. That's just what I googled, right? What's under the pyramids? That's not a source. That's not a source. That's not a source. These are like news outlets. AFP fact check, not a source. Answers in Genesis, not a source. Reddit, not a source. Here's something. This is on a preprint server. It's not published. Synthetic aperture radar Doppler tomography reveals details of undiscovered high-resolution internal structure of the Great Pyramid of Giza. So let's go look at this. Is this the thing that you're referring to? This is from 2022, by the way. Let's just scroll through it really quick and see if that image comes from this paper. Now, close but no cigar. Close but no cigar. Not quite. Nope, it doesn't come from this paper.
Yeah, that's a scan of the other pyramid.
Yeah, so that thing that we just saw, it's not here. Let's keep looking. Page 2, Facebook, Egypt Tours Portal, National Geographic. Oh, here's something. Synthetic aperture radar. Oh, this is the same thing. So this is the Great Pyramid of Giza one. We can scroll through it. It's the same thing. This one looks like it is published, actually. Yeah, this is the same one that we just looked at. This one is published. It's published in a, with all due respect, shitty journal. MDPI is not trustworthy, but it is published. And so where is the publication of these columns underneath the pyramids? Why can't I find it anywhere?
I mean, you've spent about 1 minute looking, so when you search for...
I'm not seeing it anywhere, my guy. I think you're just BSing.
No, I'm not BSing.
Okay, then you should be able to tell me where to find it.
Just because I can't remember the name of a journal doesn't mean that it's not true.
Do you remember anything about
it? You just found one. You just found a publication that they did, right?
Yeah, from 2022.
They're using the same technology in that publication that you just looked at.
Sure. At least that's the claim, but we don't know because they haven't released the paper.
Yes, there's a paper with it's published.
You want to bet?
No, I don't need to bet you, man. I've read the thing.
Oh, okay. Have you? So surely you remember what it was called, right?
No, I think most people don't remember off the top of their head months later what a journal was named.
No, not the journal, the name of the paper.
Same thing, the name of the paper. I don't remember off the top of my head what it is.
How do you know that you were reading that then?
Oh, man. What is it? What is the problem?
It's been over a
with
year.
this?
Why can't I find this publication?
I don't know what to tell you, man.
It sounds like that you just can't back up your claim.
No, you just found one of their published papers, dude.
I'm not saying that they never published anything. I'm saying that this claim is unpublished. Oh, you know what? We can reverse it. Yeah, well, reverse Google image searching might work, but it'll probably just get us back to the press release. We can try, though.
Why don't we talk about one of the biggest problems in cosmology right now, which is the...
Sure. Pivot.
The big red giants.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Pivot! Shut up! Shut up! Shut up!
Yeah, what about the galaxies that they discovered with the James Webb telescope that are not supposed to be there because they formed so big, so fast that it breaks the cosmology?
Oh, it doesn't break cosmology, it breaks galaxy formation models. But look, are we just going to grant that you're pivoting? After your claim about the, these pyramids being constructed by ancient civilizations that definitely exist, that you definitely have evidence for, but you can't present it, was completely demolished?
No, sir, I don't agree with your claim that it's demolished.
Oh, well, we'll leave that up to the audience to decide. But
Your
will
audience,
you grant
I
at least
wouldn't
that you're
trust them.
pivoting?
I wouldn't trust your audience with anything.
Will you at
buddy.
least grant that you're pivoting away from this because you couldn't present the evidence?
No, it's not because I can't present the evidence. It's because
Well,
it's
then
getting
present the evidence.
repetitive. I'm telling you that it was published, and you
Yeah,
can't find it
what's
right
the evidence
now.
for that claim?
You can't find it in 1 minute, and now you're telling me that it's
what's
just
the
not
evidence
true.
for the? And by the way, just so we can be clear, it was definitely more than 1 minute. We can just go look. What's the evidence for the claim that it's published?
And one that was made.
As I can tell, written. That's a Facebook things 100 years ago. Because we know when he wrote. Let's find one I'm searching. Really in question. Sorry, so
is explaining something quite different than that.
So that was 10 minutes, by the way, of me looking. Yeah, 1 sec. But look, it sounds like you can't find it either, which is great, but you found it once, so you should be able to find it again.
Yeah, I'm sure I could find it again if I sat on my computer and actually tried to find it.
Yep, which is what I just did for the last 10 minutes. And I'm generally pretty good at finding sources because, you know, as a researcher, that's one of the things that you have to do. Now tell me, how do these large red galaxies, how do they disprove cosmology?
Well, it just showed that things didn't form it didn't take as long to form them as once thought before.
Yep, that's a question of galaxy formation, not cosmology.
What is that? Not part of cosmology?
No, it's not.
Okay, what is cosmology to you?
Study of the there's kind of two pieces. There's large scale structure, so not individual galaxy formation, but the kind of distribution of matter on a large scale, and questions, and it seeks to answer questions like the ultimate fate of the universe, the origins of the universe, and these kinds of things. Cosmologists are not usually the kinds of people who are studying the actual mechanism of galaxy formation in the early universe or at any period in time. That would be astrophysics.
Well, here's an example of where I'm just quoting headlines of the
headlines of what?
They call it the crisis in cosmology.
No, but what are the
Referencing
headlines
to these
from?
things.
What are the headlines? Where are they from?
Just type in crisis in cosmology.
Okay. Yep. Okay. What am I supposed to be looking at? The Templeton Foundation? YouTube? Bigthink.com? Is it this? Is this what I'm supposed to be looking at?
Yeah.
The crisis in cosmology is pure exaggeration? There are a few clues that the universe isn't completely adding up. Even so, the standard model of cosmology holds up stronger than ever. Crazy. So it seems like this is undermining your claim.
Okay, you can pick one example of that.
Where should we be looking? Where should we be looking? Should we be looking on Wikipedia? This doesn't even seem to have the text on it. We could look at this article if you wanted to. We could look at the Templeton Foundation. We could look at Reddit. We could look at YouTube. We could look at Keck Observatory. Keck Observatory. That's a good one. Let's go look at this. A Crisis in Cosmology. This was published 7 years ago, or this was written 7 years ago. You know, it's a blog post, but let's read what this has to say. A group of astronomers led by UC Davis has obtained new data that suggests the universe is expanding more rapidly than previously thought. The study comes on the heels of a hot debate over just how fast the universe is ballooning. Measurements thus far are in disagreement. Is this what you're referring to?
No, I'm referring to the one that talks about the red giants.
Okay, let's keep scrolling. Oh, sorry, let me open up the window so that we can see. Why some astronomers are starting to doubt what's this? Astronomy Magazine? Are starting to doubt cosmology's standard model. The most recent measurements of a nearby galaxy cluster. Okay, well that can't be what you're talking about, because you're talking about very distant galaxies. So it can't be this one. Let's keep scrolling, shall we? There's just a bunch of discussions and forums. Why is there a crisis in cosmology? That's Quora. Did the hypergeometrical universe theory solve... This is ResearchGate, so it's not even a publication. Is cosmology in crisis? That sounds like a question. Let's read. Reading is good. panel of physicists and astronomers, this is from 2024 by the way, grapple with possible cracks in our modern creation myth, the standard model of cosmology. Over the past year and a half, data and images from the James Webb Telescope, or JWST, have been flooding in, and floating around in the sea of data, and from other instruments for the past 20 years, are at least 3 big problems. There appear to be too many big, bright galaxies too soon after the Big Bang. No one can agree on how fast the universe is or was expanding, and we don't know what most of the universe is made from. So it looks like you're talking about this first one? There appear to be too many big, bright galaxies? Okay. The University of Texas at Austin brought together a panel of astronomy and physics faculty members to debate and discuss the meaning of these emerging problems in the data. This is the list of their names. Oh, here's a transcript. We can probably read them.
Okay, so this is what I'm referring to
yeah. So the question is cosmology in crisis? And I guess these people are talking about it. So surprise number 1, there appear to be too many big, bright galaxies too soon after the Big Bang. How did these monsters form so quickly? Good question. Really, what's sort of propelling this crisis potentially is the fact that we are so data rich now, and so it's only really in the context of having good data can we say, do we have a good model? And the data now are so good that we can really make these predictions for how structure forms from the very earliest time, with its seeds at just 380,000 years after the Big Bang, and starts to grow and evolve into everything we see around us today. And those predictions are pretty much locked in by these observations at early times. Let's talk about data accumulated over the past 25 years. Those predictions are locked in. And what it's seeing, there's a lot more starlight than we expected at those early times, and now it's a little complicated to interpret that light completely because we don't have a full picture. But the best inferences that people have made tell us that some of these galaxies that are there at early times are actually bigger than is even theoretically possible in this standard model of cosmology. So if this isn't an error in the inference from the data, then this could be a real problem for the cosmological model. This person has a very... Hold on, we'll keep reading. Carl Gebhardt, also a professor of astronomy, had a very different take. So I would say you started out and said we're data rich. I would say we're actually quite data poor. And it's a little bit of a cosmologist gone wild situation when you only have a few data points. A lot of people are making very strong claims in terms of the early galaxies data that James Webb has been producing. Right now we're jumping on the few galaxies, it really is a handful of galaxies, that are a little bright. And I agree, it could be quite profound, but to have such a small number of objects cause us to basically reinvent some of the fundamentals of how the universe came into being. And I would say, let's wait a bit. It looks nice, we definitely need more data early on, and we definitely need more data between this very early time and this time today. So it seems like there's disagreement about whether this is even an issue.
There's always disagreement about anything that comes that's new.
So what do you think the consensus is? Do you think that the consensus right now is that indeed the standard model of cosmology has failed? Do you think that that's the consensus?
I would say that it's definitely making them question it. That's
okay. Well,
for sure.
Here, let me tell you, I'm a cosmologist, in part. I'm also a mathematician, but I publish in cosmology journals. And I can tell you, of the cosmologists I've spoken with, they're not particularly worried.
Okay, I guess that's the case solved then.
Well, look, in fact, so what we just read was from 2024. And this was right after, I think James Webb actually turned on in 2024, right? It was either summer of 2023 or 2024. Oh, it was 2021? Oh, no, it released its first images in July of 2022. So, and I think it was 2024 when we first started seeing those things, or maybe it was summer of 2023. I can't keep these things straight. But the point is that in the intermediate time between 2024 and now, we've actually learned a lot more about what's going on. There were a lot of assumptions made, which were perhaps reasonable assumptions at the time for what the masses of these galaxies are, how well formed they are. And it turns out that some of these assumptions were just not good. There's something called the universal mass distribution? It's something like that. I can't remember the exact name. But it was generally assumed prior to James Webb data that the distribution of the sizes of stars was the same in early galaxies as it was in modern galaxies, i.e. that you have lots of little tiny stars and a few very big stars, and that there's a particular distribution. And it was just assumed that that was just a constant feature of galaxies. And so you can infer from that distribution how bright something is would tell you about its mass, about how much mass it has. But it turns out that that's an unjustified assumption. And if you loosen that assumption, if you allow yourself to be like, oh, well, actually, maybe the distribution of stars in a galaxy change over time because, perhaps the types of gases that are present in galaxies change over time as stars fuse hydrogen to helium, helium into whatever's next, lithium, and so on and so forth. As the materials that are present for star formation change, you would expect a different distribution of stars. And so the idea is that indeed these are actually not problematic once you've accepted that the galaxies 13 billion years ago are just not the same as the galaxies today. And that's not so far-fetched. But that is the reason why these teams of astronomers made these claims that, oh, these galaxies are too big for us to see 2 years ago, or too big for us to have expected them 2 years ago.
Yeah, okay. I hear what you're saying. But at least you know I'm not making something up here.
I think what you read as a headline, and you latched onto that because it confirms your bias.
I'm not sure if it confirms my bias. My bias is not exactly what you think it is, because I agree that the Earth could have been here for millions of years. And I agree that it could have evolved in some way, shape, or form to be where it is today. But I believe that God intervened to give us the creation account of what he did with what was already here.
Your bias is that mainstream science is getting it wrong.
No, actually, I like science quite a bit.
That's not what I said. I didn't say you didn't like science. I said your bias is that mainstream science is wrong. You think mainstream science is wrong about the pyramids? You think mainstream science is wrong about cosmology? What else do you think mainstream science is wrong about? Do you think that evolution is real?
I would say that it could be real. I don't think it would. I can't discount it.
Do you think that humans evolved?
No, I think that we were engineered.
Okay, so you disagree with mainstream science that humans evolved? So it seems like all of the science that you like is just fringe stuff. You don't actually like science. You like being at the being the contrarian who thinks that all of the mainstream science is wrong.
No, I don't think that all the mainstream science is wrong, but I do.
Just the three examples of mainstream science that we've talked about you think are wrong.
Yeah.
You don't think that's suggestive of anything?
I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Well, it just seems like that you are not actually interested in what the science says. You're just interested in being in the in-group that knows what's really true, even though the mainstream normies, they believe the wrong thing.
No, I'm not interested in being in any group.
Do you think that the vaccines that were developed for COVID were effective?
I have no idea. I didn't pay attention to any of that.
Okay. Do you think that aliens visited us, since to kick off human civilization?
Well, I think based on everything that is coming out with UAP evidence that, yeah, there's something that's been visiting us even now.
So I don't think that you actually love science. I think you like conspiracy theories.
Some conspiracies are true.
Yeah, they only become true, or you're only justified in believing that they're true when we have evidence for them. And we don't have evidence for aliens visiting us 10,000 years ago. We don't have evidence that humans were engineered. We don't have evidence that there was an ancient civilization on Earth that built the pyramids. We don't have evidence for any of this.
Yes, we do.
You think so?
Yeah. Do you know, are you actually following what's going on with UAP disclosure?
Yeah. Yeah, I have been, actually. And the best that they can do is you can have retired naval pilots being like, yeah, I saw it, and then grainy footage from a airplane moving at 600 miles an hour. That's the best they can do. If this actually was a real thing, then they'd show us the body, show us the aircraft, or show us the spacecraft.
Yeah, and when that day comes, what are you gonna do?
I'll accept the evidence. When that day never comes, what are you gonna do?
It's already here, man.
Okay, have they shown us the body? Have they shown us the spacecraft?
Straw man arguments here.
Have they shown us the bodies?
Straw man arguments.
Have they shown us the bodies?
No, they haven't shown us the bodies yet.
Okay, have they shown us the spacecraft?
Yeah, we've been looking at them.
No, I mean the physical thing, the actual thing, not just grainy footage from a jet fighter flying at 600 miles an hour.
We have more than just grainy footage. There's legit footage that's been out there.
Legit footage of what?
Of UAPs, of craft that
What
are
is-
behaving in ways
what is
that our physics can't explain.
Oh, they're behaving in ways that our physics can't explain? How do you come to that conclusion that our physics can't explain it?
Because they're making right angle turns at speeds that would not be allowed based on what we understand to be the modes of travel.
What does that have to do with physics? Sorry? Modes of travel?
Yeah, they're using propulsion that is not based on something that we have. They're using propulsion based on
Well, that's a
anti-gravity.
big claim. That's an enormous claim. Where's the
Yeah,
evidence
but
for
it's
that?
substantiated by all of these videos that they've released.
You mean like these like videos being taken from 700 miles an hour of things that they can't identify the size of?
They can identify the size of them. I don't know what you're saying.
Then why is it that one? So there was actually NASA actually put together I don't want to say NASA. It wasn't an official NASA thing. A team at NASA put together an analysis of the released videos. This was last year, I think. I actually might have it saved in my phone. Let me see if I can find it. One sec. Because this is super instructive. I've actually had this saved on my phone for eons, and I've never got a chance to bring it up, but I knew it would come in handy. Yeah, it's called the Department of, oh, actually, maybe it's the Department of Defense. All Domain Anomaly Resolution Office. I think it's this one. Is this the thing that I'm referring to? Let me see if this is the one. Because there was basically an enormous analysis that was done where, and I could have sworn it was a NASA-based scientist, but maybe it wasn't, where they basically just looked at all these videos and they actually concluded, doing actual analysis rather than just kind of staring at it and being like, oh, that looks funny, doing actual analysis that like the vast majority of them are like plastic bags floating on the wind or like birds.
Plastic bags and birds. Wow, that's pretty.
Yeah, and they couldn't figure that out because they didn't know how big they were or how far away they were. Yeah, I think it was that one. Let me see if I can find the document. You laugh as if I'm saying something crazy, but you think that it's more likely that it's aliens rather than just like some ordinary stuff that's being misidentified, which is like crazy.
Yeah, when it's going 20,000 miles an hour and stops on
how
a
do you
dime,
figure
yeah,
out how do you figure out it's going 20,000 miles an hour when you don't know how far away it is?
They have calculations. I've seen papers too.
Okay, let's see them. Okay, this is what I'm talking about. I think this is the thing that I'm talking about. Here we go. Yeah, okay, so this is from the Defense Department, also now called the Department of War. We can just go to the executive summary. This is this is February 2024. AARO found no evidence that any USG investigation, academic-sponsored research, or official review panel has confirmed that any sighting of a UAP represented extraterrestrial technology. AARO found no empirical evidence for claims that the USG and private companies have been reverse engineering extraterrestrial technology. AARO determined, based on all information provided to date, that claims involving specific people, known locations, technological tests, and documents allegedly involved in or related to the reverse engineering of extraterrestrial technology are inaccurate.
Wow, a denial. Big deal.
Do you have something that confirms this?
Yeah, I've seen it.
That's what you said about the paper that was allegedly published about the stuff underneath the Egyptian pyramid, but that wasn't true either.
It's true, you just didn't find it yet.
Oh, just like how the papers that you've seen that confirm that these are extraterrestrial in origin, you've seen that, but you just don't remember what it is.
No, I don't have that great of a memory like you do.
And how do you know that your memories are true about this? That you've seen it? How do you know you're not just misremembering?
No, I'm not misremembering. I just don't remember the exact titles of papers. and where they were published.
Apparently, they're not published anywhere.
Okay, you're just trolling now.
I think that you've been trolling this whole time, Metatron, but I'm going to let you go because it's time to do that. Well, all right, let's read some super chats. Yeah, I mean, like, by the way, this document is spectacular. I mean, like, it's from the DoD, but it's from before Trump completely, you know, gutted the DoD. So if you're interested, take a look at it. And so, yeah, I think it's this document that did the, let me scroll through and see if I can find it. Yeah. Hold on. Let me see if I can find it. Oh, it might not be in here. Anyway, take a look at it. Let's read some super chats. From Binary Ghost with the $10, I think humans being last in creation is even simpler. Humans are the ones cataloging things, haven't seen new things spawn into existence, we seem special, and therefore we must have been last. Yeah, that's a fair point too. From Binary Ghost with the $10, yes, you mammals love your ice age, but it is coming to an abrupt end. Soon we will leave our refuge in the hollows of the earth, and reptiles will dominate once again. Exon means victory in reptilian. That's funny. That is extreme. I love that. From Binary Ghost again with the $5. This is my favorite show about searching for things on Google. Yeah, that's what it became, right? Bacon and Bush sending 5 Dr. Blitz Debunks gift memberships. That means that 5 more people now have access to the debate notes. Now, the debate notes are where I was looking. It's where I've been looking, or the source that I've been using for a lot of the conversations that we've been having today. One sec, let me go to something else really quick. So then I don't show you the URL on accident. But I do want to show you guys the debate notes, so you can see what you're missing and why you should become a $5 a month member. So these are the debate notes. I have stuff on... Oh, where is it? Oh, no, I want that back. I have stuff on Flat Earth. I have stuff on theism, young Earth, MAGA science denial, all sorts of stuff. And you can get access to these if you want to. You also obviously would be supporting me. You get access to a members only live or a members only chat in the Discord, and you get access to some special emojis on whatever platform you decide to subscribe in. So it's a great way to support me, and you get access to some fun stuff. So consider it. And thank you again, Bacon and Bush, for sending those 5 memberships to 5 random people that are watching. Nathan Irvine with the $5. Great, we're getting new data to perfect our understanding. That's called science. Indeed it is. Indeed it is. And we have also some Cash Apps, I believe, that I don't want to miss. From Shay with the $100 Cash App for... Sorry, I can't say it, but it was really funny. Thank you so much, Shay. Very, very generous of you. Shay may have already left, but thank that. I thank them anyway. Somebody asked, when's the next Ask a Physicist? That'll be tomorrow. Tomorrow at around the same time. So y'all, it is that time. It is the time for the live stream to end because it is noon and I have a lot of work to do, a lot of science work to do rather than this. So thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you guys so much for stopping in, for following along if you decide to do so. And I will